fighters. All your fists is all fighter, and I know one when I see one. Just fight the fight, just dig deep, just win the round. Believe it, achieve it, and don't back down.
Oh my God, comes out of nowhere. Oh, Yaki is an absolute freak when he plays Tracer. Feeler playing out of his mind.
It's Big OG with a ridiculous fire strike. Wow, sensational stuff here from the Florida Mayhem.
Oh my Fearless, that is massive. What an earth shatter.
We have a word for that. It's MTD, the main tank difference.
He's like, Carpe gets him! He Carpe! Onto Toby, this is fantastic from Lim. The Dragons knock off the Philadelphia Fusion.
The Chengdu Hunters, they push to victory.
What? A gravitic flap!
Oh, beautiful play.
You love to see it. For Dallas Fuel, it's aloha, baby. Everything we love about the Overwatch League is on display right now. You'd be absolutely bonkers to miss it.
Welcome to the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. My name is Oikschwind, and with me on the desk are none other than Count, Jonathan, Reinforced Larson, Scott Costa Kennedy, and Danny Birthday Boy Lim.
Hey, happy birthday, Danny!
We of course have a special thing for you, Danny. I mean, we might be still quarantining, all of us, and we're all at home, but we still got your birthday cake.
Oh!
Yeah. It's a cake.
Here we go. Blow the candles, Danny.
Blow the
Guys,
candles out. Do it.
Best birthday ever. All right, here we go.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Perfect.
I love you all. Thank you.
This was the cheapest birthday party I ever had to throw.
Hey,
down.
but it was still the
I'm
best.
loving
It was still the best. I got a virtual cake and Zoe sang me a birthday song before the show started.
Actually. Yeah.
Best.
I serenaded him with my ukulele, and I didn't hit the tunes, but it wasn't for the lack of effort, was it? Also, Jonathan is now a Count.
Yeah, congratulations, Johnny.
Yeah, congratulations.
I don't even know what count means. Like, I don't know.
It's like,
I don't know the definition. I think you're a vampire. Oh.
Yeah, it's a bit sinister, a bit dark. It's not quite like a Baron. Baron is just filthy rich. I feel like a Count is like.
I don't know how to engage in this topic because I don't know what it means.
So is that? Is it a?
It's whatever it means to you, Jonathan.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's like you're asking me to do subtraction, but not knowing what subtraction is.
It's good. You make a good point.
Sorry,
but anyway, as we were figuring
out, is it good or bad? Okay, never mind. All right.
I think it's good. I think it's
good.
It's a good thing. Yeah, sure.
Congrats, Johnny.
Why not?
Yay!
Speaking of good, we had some pretty good matches this weekend. So, yesterday there were 4 teams hoping to win the Mayhem Elite tournament, and today that number dropped to just 2. Now, here's how the competition was cut in half. First up, in the day 2 winners match between the Dragons and the Fuel, Shanghai was this close to winning their third 6-map set in a row, which is actually insanity. It's just their shtick now. That's just what they do. But they ran into a very confident Dallas Fuel who bested them in yet another 6-map series, of course.
Yeah, so we saw a precursor of the match that we're going to see in the grand finals. We saw this, just yesterday, and it was an absolutely ridiculous match. Went to 6, the Shanghai Dragons special so far throughout the May Melee, and I think they're actually doing this on purpose at this point, because every single map that they play, they get better. I don't know how it is possible, but their learning on the fly is incredible, and we actually see how they adjust against individual teams, and we saw that against the Florida Mayhem yesterday for the Dragons as well. I'm curious. The Dallas Fuel had a head full of steam, and they're a train that nobody can stop. But the Dragons just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better. Have Dragons finally gotten to the point that they can take down the juggernaut of the Dallas Fuel?
Yeah, they went from Charmander to Charizard real quick.
Very quickly, yeah.
Real quick.
So I'm very, very impressed. Now, after that, an elimination match between the Mayhem and the Hunters was in order. Now, the Chengdu came out swinging on Lijiang Tower. Unfortunately, they weren't able to actually convert that into a map victory. They lost the second map as well. Blizzard World was fun to watch, at least, with Eamon backcapping, leaf popping off. It was exciting. It was a chaotic series, which is very befitting of the teams playing. And, in the end, it was just the Mayhem winning it out.
Yeah, the Chengdu Hunters, they didn't quite get the win, but there were a lot of great moments. They really showed potential. Mayhem, though, on the other hand, this was a Mayhem that we really wanted to see. Yaki on the Tracer constantly getting kills, and he was, doing some leg workouts as usual in that match. It seemed like he was enjoying himself. And BQB also just phenomenal DPS hit scan. OGE was actually really great on Wrecking Ball, you know, constantly interrupting the backline as well. And the whole team, but the Mayhem in this matchup, they seem very well coordinated, and they definitely minimized all the mistakes from the previous day.
Yeah, and finally, in a rematch of our first match on Thursday, the Dragons and the Mayhem battled for the privilege? Question mark of facing the Dallas Fuel in the grand finals. Now, their prior match was a match, you know, more on the chaotic side, definitely a close one, but it seemed like the Dragons were able to absolutely download their opponents in their rematch.
Yeah, the Shanghai Dragons came in fresh and ready to go in this one. For the Mayhem, of course, they played this match back to back after their initial match against the Chengdu Hunters. So they looked a bit tired, they looked a bit off, and the Shanghai Dragons, they capitalized. They came into this match ready to go. They beat Florida Mayhem in the Reinhardt compositions, which we didn't expect at all. And then to top it off, they just dominated King's Row as well and just swept the Florida Mayhem in a clean 3-0 here. Shanghai Dragons, they're looking really good and they're improving every match, just as Costa mentioned before. With these signs ahead of us, the Shanghai Dragons are proven to be a real threat against Dallas Fuel in today's main Melee finals.
Can I be the one saying that I was a little disappointed at this one, though? I really wanted this one to go the distance. It was a bit anticlimactic to end the day after we had so many insanely great matches. Like, this one was a bit of a, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, all the matches have been insane so far as we take a look at the bracket. But this one, that was the truly sweep, as you said so. So we had high expectations for this matchup, but as we see in the bracket here, it's 3-0 so.
Yeah, and now the Dallas Fuel finding themselves in those grand finals. And believe it or not, but this is the Dallas Fuel's first finals ever in an Overwatch League tournament or in a playoff scenario as well. So is, you know, you gotta ask the question, is the cycle of misery broken now?
Let's give them today, okay? Let's not jinx them just yet. I think if they win, I think everybody will be convinced that the Dallas Fuel is a new team. I think regardless of the result today, they've done great. I think the cycle is probably over, but I want to see what I want them to put that exclamation point on the end of the cycle of misery is over, because until that happens, I think everyone's going to have that in the back of their mind that, is Dallas going to beat the Fuel again? I don't know. I'm worried. Please help me.
The classic. Yeah. Now we're going to take a very quick break, but Emote Control is up next, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey Stock Footage friends, I'm having trouble leveling up in my ranked games. What do you guys suggest? Signed, Guy, working on laptop at coffee shop.
Young student at portable personal computer here. Have you tried new skins? Maybe that will give you the confidence you need.
Busy Doctor here. I think I've got just the prescription you need. Overwatch League Perks by T-Mobile.
That's right, King. With Overwatch League Perks, you can instantly connect your YouTube account to your Battle.net account. You can spend your tokens on legendary skins as well as earn new sprays and Overwatch League skins for tuning into tournament matches. With Overwatch League Perks by T-Mobile, you'll slay your ranked games, giving you more time to do the things you love. Like eating a hamburger, shirtless, at your computer, or eating a salad with your bare hands, shirtless at your computer, or eating a whole turkey leg, also shirtless at your computer. Overwatch League Perks by T-Mobile. They make everything better.
faces are stretched and warmed up for our May Melee Finals edition of Remote Control presented by State Farm. And first up, OG got knocked into a big old hole on Oasis City Center, and then after doing the walk of shame back, he just gets knocked straight back in. Not reinforced. How are we feeling about this one?
Oh, I feel your pain. Oh no, he's down the hole. He's down the gutter. This is my face. This is how I feel about this OG. I know the pain. He comes up here. There's some McCree right there. Okay, you gotta pick. There's a Maywall there. Yeah, I mean, you're navigating around the point. But then, suddenly, he gets pooped out again. Twice in like a minute. Oh no. Oh, so much pain. Yeah, I'm sorry, OG. Look at his face. He's like... He's so fed up with it. I mean, this.
Yeah, he's done with life.
I'm so sorry, OG.
I love it.
I'm very sorry.
It might have been that it was 1 a.m., but me and Johnny were just giggling like school children watching this happen live on stream. We were just having a good old time watching OG just like finally make it back up. It's like, OG's gonna do something sick, and then he just jumps back in the pit. It's like, oh, that wasn't what we expected.
I mean, to be fair, it's not past midnight now, and we're still giggling like schoolgirls about this very happening. So, you know, I
guys,
don't think it was
please get serious. All right?
Sorry, Dan.
Just get serious. We're talking about video games.
What are you
here.
guys doing? Gosh.
Gosh, it's Danny's birthday. Get it together.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up,
Oh, yeah,
Yaki. He's just so next level that he decides to. I can't believe I'm saying that. 1v1 a break on Havana. Casta, what the F?
Yeah, we saw a bit of a. Yeah, you just see it there. This should never happen. A Brig should have the advantage over a Genji most of the time. Nisha leaves, you know, safety and the use of his shield to a minimum and just gets absolutely bopped. And this was actually such an important moment. Mayhem don't finish this map here if this doesn't happen. He should theoretically have just straight up died, but because Yaki kills him, and my face is it from a support player. That's my face every time you lose that 1v1. Because then you have to explain it to the other people on your team. You're like, ooh, yeah,
what do you say?
Yeah, what do you even say?
What do you even say to your team? Like, oh.
Sorry. At that point, you just apology. It's the only way to go. I hope this inspires a lot of bold Genjis out there to come at me when I'm playing Brick. I'd enjoy that. I'd welcome them.
Come at me, bro.
And arms. Exactly.
Come closer.
Come at me.
Come at me.
Now, moving along, speaking of coming at someone, this great duel between Yaki and Lee Jae Gong from Day One on Dorado, I have to take this one. The facial pain of Yaki is everything. Look at him. I can't believe it. And he just popped off too, right? Like he just did something really good for his team. Then Lee Jae Gong is just like, nah.
No.
Making good use of that Valk, man.
I can't get enough of it. It's so good.
His
face is so good.
Watch it also.
Yeah.
It's just.
Perfect.
I love it from a Mercy. As a Mercy player, like that is like the best feeling that you can ever have. And I sum up Zoe's face. I agree with Zoe's face. That's how I feel when you do that as Mercy. You're like, oh, that was a lot. That was spicy.
Kind of nice. We like it. We like it. Now, next up is a play by Leave on Hanamura, which is going to make everyone try to play Hanzo, unfortunately, on ladder. But trust me, you can't do this. Danny, that was just disgusting. All right, I think this is the only fitting word here.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Disgusting is the perfect word. He was just too good. It was so good that it was disgusting. It was filthy. Oh, that's my face. It's disgusting and filthy. It's so good. That's excitement plus disgust at the same time. Yeah.
How do you do that with your face?
How do you do this?
I don't know. We discussed like when we were dancing around here on the desk for no reason whatsoever. I don't even know what started, but you made that face. It was branded inside my brain ever since. I can't forget it.
Aw,
it's living rent free. I'm not sure it's a compliment, but it's.
Well,
yeah, sure, why not? It's a birthday, it's a compliment.
Yeah, everything's a compliment today from me. Thank you.
Nice.
The segment is called Remote Control, and we're definitely out of on control here. So
yeah,
get the reins back.
Well,
they
finally,
won't leave Florida alone. I can do puns and stuff, you know. Options doing it, so why can't I?
No,
we like it. Now, finally, I want to take a look at one last play here from Thursday. It was this epic bump on Hanamura. I mean, we went absolutely nuts in the back.
Yep.
So let's give it all a good go here with our emotes / faces.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We love to do it.
Yeah, it's just like thanks, Fleda, right? Like, why not?
Johnny's face.
We work is like these. Actually true.
My face was Fleta.
What team are you
Because
on?
that's him in the ice block, just like, bye guys, have a good time.
Johnny, what team are you on with your facial expression?
Oh, Florida, all the way. I mean, you see a 4K show up on the kill feed and you just lose it. I mean, if this was in person in like the Blizzard Arena or like at a homestand, oh my god, I would have gotten tinnitus. It would have been lit. Would have been great.
Okay.
Oh, that was just a fantastic play, and I honestly can't get enough. I think we've already shown it on our show like 5 or 6 times, and might as well just show it another 10 times, just because we can.
not,
It's also
right?
a great filler. So yeah, why not? Why not? Now, before we preview the teams for today's match, we wanted to spend a moment discussing the other things that could determine today's winner. So it could be maps, heroes, comps, fatigue, or maybe, you know, momentum. What do you think will be the X factor for either of those teams? Starting with you, Fleta. Fleta.
Hi, me. Hi, Fleta. Hi, Fleta.
You just give me that Fleta energy. I don't know.
Can I be Fleta? I would love to be the 2020 MVP. That would be everything. And good at DPS. I've never been that either. So, but for me, the X factor is Fleta for me, and it's specifically him on the Echo. I think that is sort of the solution that the Shanghai Dragons have come up against the Dallas Fuel. He is just so dominant, just turning into every hero in the game and just excelling at it to a ridiculous level. But on top of that, I think their focusing beam onto Fearless is such an important thing. It sort of changed the dynamic in the way that the Fuel had to play. So for me, the X factor is Fleta on this Echo. I think he's going to play it 100% like he did in the last series and just take it to the next level.
Well, when I had to give my X factor, it was 1 a.m. my time, and I was a bit delirious, I'm not gonna lie. So the best thing that came to my mind was the Shanghai AI logarithm. I don't know complicated words.
Shanghai AI.
Like
I
they just
kinda like
keep
it, though. It's good.
expanding
Keep on
their
going.
knowledge.
Okay.
I can't believe it. The Shanghai X Factor learning AI. Like they just keep improving every match. The reason they play 6 maps is to have more time to scrim and just improve at the game. That's the real reason. They just drag it out, and sometimes they lose. I mean, that's not very good. Like Legion on here, he just walked into a dragon. Who does that? And then on Florida Mayhem, they just end up beating them 3-0 in the lower bracket because they improved upon that best of 5 series we saw early on in the tournament. So now they keep improving. We obviously saw them against the Dallas Fuel already, and they lost that best of 5 series. But now, going into the finals, I really feel like the Shanghai Dragons, they're going to keep improving. Their learning AI is working at full capacity right now. And I really feel like the Shanghai Dragons are going to go into this one looking a little bit different from what we've seen in prior matchups. And I really do feel like they're going to keep improving. So really excited to see what Coach and the Shanghai Dragons come up with this one. That's the key.
Shanghai learning AI people.
People.
Is Danny an AI?
I'm buying it. He might be. He's too good to be true.
That's true.
All right. My X Factor, I actually chose Fearless and his Winston play. I mean, throughout the whole May Melee tournament and even the knockout rounds, like I think Fearless just outperformed any of just every other main tank players. And I think it was Lip on his post-match interview that mentioned that Dallas Fuel's main weakness is not having a head scan player. And a lot of people believe that, but why do you worry about them when you got, as you see, Fearless, who could actually kill a Flying Pharah or an Echo as a Winston. And he apparently has way more jump packs than any other Winstons in the league. So, I don't think that's a problem. So I think if Fearless can continuously perform at that level that he's performing right now, I think Dallas is going to win today for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's been performing out of his mind, but my X factor for this entire May Melee tournament has been I'm gonna call it you do you meta, because quite frankly, I feel like we've seen so many different, not just meta variations, but also just completely random compositions. The hero usage in this entire tournament has been very, very versatile, and a lot of teams, they just kind of play to their strength. As you just said, like the Dallas Fuel don't have a hit scan, they make it work in a different way, and it's not like they're playing around or trying to find a substitution for it really. They play their thing and it works. It doesn't look like a substitution. It looks like their thing. It's been working for all the teams, I feel. They all looked the best when they played in their comfort zone, and if that is meta or not, like, it just didn't really matter. And I love to see that. I absolutely love to see that, and I want to see more of that. Now, we are just minutes away from the start of May Melee Finals between the Shanghai Dragons and the Dallas Fuel, and we're going to tell you who wins right after this, so don't go anywhere.
The script.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
Not all 5G networks are created equal. You're simply the best! T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. All the stories, all the insights. Introducing Power Rankings with IBM Watson. With AI analyzing millions of Overwatch data points, heroes will be revealed.
When Overwatch contacted us, I was very much surprised.
Bring these teams from the Western and Eastern region to really crown a champion. Okay, we need to level out the playing field. That's what we all want. Hawaii was that place.
It's Aloha, baby, to set themselves up for a berth in Hawaii.
Where are we going?
What?
Aloha. One of the biggest priorities really was to figure out how to get global competition more regularly. As you recall, in the 2020 Grand Finals, we flew 2 of the North American teams over to Korea. They had to do a 2-week quarantine. We wanted to find ways in the future to make it better for our players. How can we solve this problem and try our best to think outside of the box? I've only been in Hawaii for a couple hours now, and you can see my beautiful hotel background. They call me the head of the Overwatch League, and this is the room that they gave me. But it is amazing here. We really liked in the 2020 season the monthly tournament format, but the fact that those tournaments had to be regional given all of the travel and immigration issues. It was rough not being able to see, Fleta, who was the MVP, not be able to play against some of the teams over in the Western region.
I'm Sky Kavaloa. I'm a PhD student at the University of Hawaii, and I actually do esports research. So I was a bit worried about the ping because Hawaii has a reputation for having ping that's probably a little bit higher than most places.
If latency was too high, we would not be here. After extensive testing, we found that we can have both teams in Asia and Hawaii play at the same latency, which is huge. That really was the aha moment. We're getting the 2 teams close enough to our tournament server where we have great connections and high quality Overwatch. There's an undersea internet cable connecting Hawaii directly to Tokyo. The second step for us was then to say, okay, we need to level out the playing field. Over the off season, we worked with Team 4 to help build this minimum latency feature for our 2021 season to allow for a more even match play. And we even have a direct line from the University of Hawaii that we're playing from to the Tokyo servers, which allows that latency to be as low as possible across the entire Pacific Ocean.
When Overwatch contacted us, I was very much surprised because they asked us if we could do something on campus. And I was just thinking, oh gosh, we don't have the venue, we don't have the space. But what they wanted to do was something a bit different.
The University of Hawaii has been a great host for us for this event. The biggest things for us really that we needed their help on were getting the right setups in place. And so finding rooms on campus where the teams could compete. And then also, again, to make sure that from an IT perspective, we were squared away.
We wanted to make sure that students were learning from this opportunity. The kids themselves, the students themselves, will have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take part in a tournament, a massive, one of the biggest tournaments in esports.
While we've brought in, our own IT and events and comp ops folks really to run the event, it's been really cool as well to be able to work with the University of Hawaii to create some fun learning opportunities for their students involved in the esports program.
When I heard about it, I was thinking, gosh, this is interesting. But it was always something that I believed Hawaii could do. And so we hope that students stay and actually develop the scene locally.
Health and safety was always top of list immediately once COVID became the headline in 2020. And that's no different going to 2021.
We wanted to make sure that we continue to follow all of the right safety guidance.
We're making sure these players are safe for each other. For us as the staff, we're doing the same protocols ourselves. That actually comforts them, knowing that we are taking it as seriously as we are. We found the solution in Hawaii to bring these teams from the Western and Eastern region to really crown a champion, because that's what we all want. As fans, as the league, and as the players.
It was a pleasure working with the Overwatch League team.
We don't know how the pandemic will resolve or when it will. My hope is that as the world continues to get safer and open up, they were able to start going back to more live events and things like that. But certainly for 2021, Hawaii has been a great option for us. We're excited about it, and we'll see what the future holds.
Welcome back. That was a look at how Hawaii made the Mayhem League possible. And right now we're getting a live look at the Dallas Fuel getting ready for their first finals in team history. Now, that game will start momentarily, so while we wait, we'll preview this match, including the elite supports playing today. Check out these supports power rankings powered by Watson. And look at that, Fielder and Izayaki. They are all the way up there. Costa, what are you making of this matchup?
Yeah, I think the unsung heroes, maybe I'm biased because I'm a support player, but the unsung heroes of this composition so far has been Fielder on the Ana as well as Izayaki. They've been so good with not only being able to keep their frontliners alive by healing them, getting the nanos up, getting those engages, just staying alive because they have those coming. We've seen 4 Winstons in one team fight, all primaling around. Try dealing with that as an Ana. These guys have done such a great job, and this is why they are the best in the business. It's been awesome to see how the adjustments have been made as this tournament has gone on, because I think Shanghai sort of cracked the code a little bit by diving Fielder and putting more pressure onto Fielder in the series that they played. And that is why this match last time they played went to 6, is because Shanghai was just putting so much pressure on Jexay and Fielder, and they just didn't have all the time to respond. And that led to this snowball. Fortunately, Dallas did get over the edge last time that they played, but if Shanghai have cracked the code and they're able to spend the entire series doing that, I'm not sure if they're going to be so lucky on the Dallas field. Just look at these numbers right here. Just under 6 enemies slept for both of them, which is actually so impressive with how fast everything is moving. But you can see their damage, healing, and assists are all around the same place, same as their deaths. That is how neck and neck these two teams are, and in the flex support area. So I'm excited to see these guys go. I just want to see an absolutely banger of a match.
Reinforce. What do you think about that tank matchup in this one?
Oh, this is the matchup for me in this match, because we talked endlessly about Fearless, the best Winston player in the world, the main protagonist of the Overwatch League anime. From the 0-42 Shanghai Dragons to last season 27-2 with the Shanghai Dragons. Look at his Winston stats in this matchup. 6 final blows per 10 minutes, 3.7 primal rage kills per 10 minutes. The guy is a beast! And now, Fate stands in his way. The new addition to the Shanghai Dragons going into this season. And Fate really has to deliver in this matchup if the Shanghai Dragons are to stand a chance. He has arguably been the one player in mirrored roles who perhaps underperformed relative to Dallas Fuel the most. He needs to step up and really leave a mark on this series if the Shanghai Dragons want to win. Of course, Fate, historically, been a very successful main tank in Overwatch League history. He has won a World Cup with Team South Korea, but he's fallen off a little bit as of late. Can he now step up in this very important matchup to rise to the level of Fearless that he has to do if the Shanghai Dragons want to win this match today?
And Danny, if we're moving on to the DPS section, who are you excited to see today?
I'm actually personally really excited to see Lip on Tracer, Lip from Shanghai Dragons on Tracer. He was phenomenal yesterday. And let's look at the stats. I mean, yeah, compared to Sparkle, Sparkle is really good, but compared to Lip, he is nowhere near Lip's Tracer. And I mean, yeah, the stats sort of speak for itself. Other than Elims, you know, he's just leading in hero damage and everything. And that just shows, I think also a lot of people know that Lip is a great player, but his Tracer, I think, sort of caught everyone off guard. He was just phenomenal. Look at that, look at those kills. I know he was getting pulse bombs, he was sticking pulse bombs just left and right and getting kills left and right. He was just phenomenal, really great player, and I'm really looking forward to see how he performs today.
Yeah, he had an absolute MVP performance yesterday, but you know, aside from all those players you guys already mentioned, let's just take a look at the rest of the players which will be meeting each other on that server, because it turns out that all of them had really standout performances so far in the Mayhem Elite tournament. You can literally make arguments for every single one of them. This was the easiest card to make. I say that as someone who didn't make that graphic at all. Neither did I actually make the effort of getting those stats. But, you know, like, they just all had something going for them, and they all had pop-up moments in the Mayhem Elite so far. So I'm very, very excited to see that clash today in this very match. Now, it's time again to reveal our picks for this very match, and unlike any other day, we have no idea what any of us picked.
It's gonna be interesting.
Big surprise.
Wow.
Big surprise. All right, I think I'm starting. Where are we starting? Are we starting? Am I going first? Okay, we're going with Johnny first, actually.
Johnny.
Oh, wow. I'm starting first? Wow.
Yep.
Here we go.
First.
Well,
who we got?
I'm going to be pretty straightforward with this
Dragons.
one.
Dragons.
I've already conceded to the AI overlord. And so I really do think that man for man, the Shanghai Dragons are the better team if they play similar compositions as yesterday. I'm going with the Dragons. I know that Dallas Fuel is all the rave on Reddit and Twitter and social media, but I know there's some Shanghai Dragons fans out there. I know that they are there to support me. I'm going with the Dragons. I think they'll improve upon yesterday's game, and I think they have what it takes to finally win this one.
I knew
Last
it.
time,
And it was such a
Johnny.
big brain play yesterday.
Yeah, it worked for you last time, Johnny, didn't it? Oh, maybe not. But this time, I'm actually joining Johnny on the Shanghai Dragons fans. I think the Dragons look so much improved over the last couple of days. They look like they can hang with the Dallas Fuel. And as I said, I think they've worked out the Dallas Fuel. I think Shanghai is going to come out strong. And I don't know if Dallas Fuel have the adaptability in them.
Listen, guys, I just want to say, we doubted this team throughout the whole season. I mean, coming into the Mayhem Elite, and then this team dominated San Francisco Shock, Houston Outlaws, and look where we are at right now. Finals. And who is this team? Of course, Dallas Fuel, everybody. I believe Dallas Fuel.
Danny.
It is not going to be easy, but I believe in Dallas Fuel. They're going to do it. I mean, like I said, everyone doubted them, and then they made it work, and they're in the finals now. The grand finals for Mayhem Elite tournament, they made it here. I feel like they're going to have something up their sleeves.
Same.
Sorry?
Danny,
Yeah?
you know, they have the fearless difference here, and I really believe that.
Wow.
If he's gonna
go,
pop
Johnny.
off.
Let's go!
And I mean, they are the ones coming through the upper bracket, right? Like Shanghai had to fight their way back up. Let's not forget that. Like they fought like teeth and nails to get to that finals. That has made it look easy. I think it hopefully is a close match, but I do think that Dallas has the edge, and I might, you know, might get this one wrong and fall further into the bottom. But
the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Fine.
Yeah,
they beat them once, they're going to do it again.
Exactly. Well, let's see how this one goes. I'm very excited to have that match starting in just a few minutes. Now, that's it for the Watch Fam pre-show, presented by State Farm. Let's send it over to our casters, everyone's favorite M&Ms, sweet and a little nuts. Mitch and Matt, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. That's a pretty good segue, so I'll give you that. Matt, nice cardigan, bro. Ever considered more than two colors in your outfit?
I dressed up today. I didn't go like Johnny, full Bond villain esque again, but I dressed up. Yeah, I don't have a hoodie on. I have a nice sweater.
Listen, Matt. All right, quickly, your prediction here, because I want to see how your prediction stacks up against the desk here.
This is so close to call, and I kind of agree. I agree with some of the points that Johnny and Scott make, where Shanghai has really started to look good as the event has gone on. It's something about how Dallas has played. I'm gonna say Dallas Fuel.
Join us.
I think Dallas definitely has an advantage on like the control and the assault maps. I think if they were to lose like the first map in the series, which was their pick, I think they're in a bit of trouble. But I think control and assault is definitely some game types I definitely favor Dallas.
All right, I thought about evening it up here because it's 2-2 on the desk, but I sent for Dallas Fuel as well. You got these guys with the 6th seed coming out of the West region. That's insane.
There you go. That's what I'm talking
Everyone's
about.
talking about how much Shanghai's improved, but I think you can sort of say the same about Dallas here. So it's a 4-2 in terms of predictions there. So yes, let's see how it goes. Thank you very much, Watchpoint crew. We'll catch up with you after this one. This is going to be an absolute barn burner, ladies and gentlemen. We whittled 20 teams down to 2 across 2 different regions, and finally, we have an international matchup in the grand final of one of our tournaments. The Mayhem LA Finals now starts very, very soon, Matthew. And the Dallas Fuel versus the Shanghai Dragons. 2 teams in the bottom 3 in Season 1. How the tables have turned.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more like saying that. Obviously, the Dragons don't win a game in Season 1, as poor as you could possibly have. But they bounced back since then and had some like good competitive seasons. Dallas really not. I mean, this is a huge match for the Fuel franchise overall. And like these players aren't really tied to what has come and happened before this moment, but the entire fan base is. This is a huge moment for Dallas Fuel fans. A win here puts to bed Dallas versus the Fuel and all of the memes that have kind of come with them thus far in the Overwatch League. This really kind of cements their place at the top currently, right? And where they ultimately want to go and win an entire Overwatch League season.
And of course, their opponents today, the Shanghai Dragons, a very unlikely victory, at least we thought it would be, over the Philadelphia Fusion to position themselves to even be here in the first place. And since then, they have grown in leaps and bounds. But I tell you what, Matt, the look on Void's face when they lost that first game to the Dallas Fuel, the desk slam, the emotion was there. These guys are angry, and my God, they're hungry.
They know they're talented enough to, I mean, look at how they handled Florida, right? We were talking about Florida potentially winning that series. They got absolutely blown out. They know what they're capable of, this team, and they're too good to be going to these, 6-game, best of fives, drawing assaults constantly. They know they're extremely talented. They should be doing performances like how they had against the Florida Mayhem, and I think that's why you saw the frustration against the Dallas Fuel. They probably felt like they let them off the hook.
Lip looking very, very scary on the Tracer. That head-to-head stat guard was quite flattering for him. Here is your Dallas Fuel, though, and again, it's Sparkle and Doha who've made it work. When, they don't really have access to that sort of hit scan potential. This is another team with a top flex support player in Fielder. And you can see here that Watson thinks very highly of Fearless as well. Fearless sits, obviously second behind OG in our sort of power rankings, with IBM Watson coming into this main melee here. But there is no play here outside the top 10. It is a star-studded lineup. Some of the very best players in the world just stuck together on this one team.
No, and I feel like the way the Dallas Fuel win this series is through the tank line, with how they've been really pocketing Fearless, enabling him to just cause chaos all over the map. Hanbin has had a very good melee. I think you saw Fielder, really playing the Ana, being able to give those nano boosts to Fearless, build up those primals. He can then just go in, just cause so much chaos. As we see the lineup of maps in the series, it is a best of 7. Where you do have, so like I mentioned, I favor Dallas in the control and the assault. Those are the first 2 map types up. And you have another control later in the series. We don't go back to assault. So if you're the Dallas Fuel and you can go up 2-0, you just need one of the 2 of those hybrid and escorts to get a series win.
Fearless going up against his old roster. I'm sure many memories on the Shanghai Dragons for him, and not all of them were particularly good. The question is this another big step up for him, departing that roster, joining this ambitious Dallas Fuel project? Well, he's going to be facing the ghosts of his past here, and a chance to hold aloft a trophy essentially here in the main melee would be massive, not just for the franchise, not just for, fans of the Fuel, but also for these players who have been recalled to taste the glory of the old days. It'll be Lijiang Tower to start with. Now, Dallas, as the highest seed, choose this map to start with. That is the benefit that they have coming in here. From here on out, it will be loser's pick. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Lee Jae-gon and Jexa matchup actually goes, because their Brig styles are very, very different. But we're more likely to see a bit more Lucio here. Make some noise at home, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming out the gates here on Lijiang Tower. The Dallas Fuel versus the Shanghai Dragons for all the marbles.
It's like, do you want me to make a little bit of noise?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, a little bit of, yeah. So we didn't get a chance to talk about it in the pre-match of this series. But I do think we'll see more of this composition for the Dallas Fuel. With the Lucio and the Moira, you play really close together. Typically, you can kind of play this like how they've done it in the past when they play the Sombra and the Tracer of it with a Winston. But this is just want to get the speed boost, all of the healing that Moira provides, everybody clumped up together, and just barrel a player down. You see a Maywall trying to block off the bridge and trying to find one player.
We're starting to see this composition pop up a little bit in contenders as well, Matthew. The backline is really what defines it here, and now we have two shields instead. Spark was going to be the first casualty here despite all the barriers in play. Lip is able to get in the back and find a kill. The coalescence here from Fielder isn't going to be enough healing to keep Fearless alive, and he himself has to fade away. Fate has already built a primal rage, and the Shanghai Dragons will have their comeuppance after being second to the point.
They just played so patiently. They knew the exact type of action that the Dallas Fuel were trying to force. As soon as the Maywall was down, they decided to push them back to the point and initiate their own dive. As Sparkle now will play the Reaper. So this is like May Reaper like Rush was an older comp. May have been last year we saw some of it played, but this is a little bit of a throwback composition. This really wants to try and punish Fate.
Lip has a special delivery of a pulse bomb he'd love to make here, but the Blizzard comes out. Void gets caught in it. The only one that really is frozen up here, Fate has a primal rage, makes it pretty hard for the Fuel to follow up, and that kind of crowd control. And Fielder goes down to the self-destruct. Big stick there from Lip, and takes Fearless low. Before he could get the Earth Shatter, he is removed. Jagon got caught inside that Gravitic Flux, and yeah, that's a kill that the Fuel can pick up here. But Lip is still at large. He's still causing problems. He dodges the rock as it comes at him here, and the Dallas Fuel might be running out of gas. They need some value from Sparkle here. Fletter comes off the point. Jackson now accosts him from behind, but that costs him his life. The Reaper's still ticking along quite nicely here, man. But the Fuel don't have the point yet. Here's Fearless. Shatter. Oh, the Nano Boost goes to waste. Lip is taken down with the charge, and Izzyaki sends that one down the Gurgler.
And there was no way you were going to be able to keep him alive. Once that Shatter came down, whether it was the Reaper finishing it off or the Reinhardt with the charge. And you see there, that's another reason the Reaper is picked a lot in these types of compositions. He's just so tanky with the lifesteal. And he had the Lucio there with him. It'll be Lip coming on just to contest. You're going to have Fate coming back here as well. So the Shanghai Dragons getting some extra percentage. Now we'll see the Sombra in the mix. So this is kind of what I expected them to come out and play Dallas Fuel, except not the Reaper, play the Tracer. And the answer already from Shanghai is going to be Fleta on the Pharah. So Fleta getting that Mercy pocket, so much damage from above, just trying to get a target weak enough that they can dive.
Field of the target, as he often is, one of the keys to victory was to keep him alive. Fleta will definitely be looking to try and pressure those targets behind the shield, and he only has eyes for Fielder right now. Dohad down. Sorry, he loses the battle of the flankers to Lip, and this is where things get a little bit dangerous for Dallas. They're forced to play on the point here. 60% and counting. The Winston bubble for Fate has gone down. Fearless in position with a Shatter here to make something happen, and Lip has a pulse. It sticks. Fearless is in deep trouble. Lip's going to clean him up.
Yeah, the sound barrier comes in from Jexa. It'll be a Death Blossom that's going to connect up the Pharah and the Mercy here. And then you have Sparkle get right up. I believe he was slept and woken up immediately. And that Death Blossom is massive. The Death Blossom from Sparkle plus Hanbin able to keep the point in the Dallas Fuel favor. And this is huge, Mitch. They're going to have an EMP plus Shatter in self-destruct.
Yeah, the chip's starting to fall in favor of the Dallas Fuel here. Izzyaki again does not have the Nano Boost to work with in this next fight. An ambitious barrage may be on the cards for Fleta, as he's built that one up pretty quickly, but an EMP comes out, that affects Fate, and he gets blown up instantly. Now it's really going to be up to Fleta to try and keep the Dragons in this particular round. Lip skirting around the edges, here comes the self-destruct, shields up, but still, Void gets two! Perhaps the Reinhardt shield wasn't enough. I don't know how that really works out. Fearless makes a wild charge and Flutter's able to clean up field with a barrage that came a little bit late, but it's really the self-destruct that saves the Dragons.
It absolutely does. And now we get to see if the Dallas Fuel can make use of this shatter. They're going to have to get back towards the point. Maybe it's Hanbin or Doha who can get the touch. You're going to have to get Fearless in position. Doesn't look like any... Okay, it's going to be Doha who touches the point.
Fate and Void, stalwart on the point here. Sparkle going down to Flatter early isn't ideal. There's not much Reaper can do about that airborne threat. Fearless wants to use this shadow, but he's going to run out of help before he has an opportunity. Fielder desperately trying to keep him topped up with the Coalescence, but the damage keeps coming. Fearless, Shatter, gets Fate. Can he charge? No, Fate's able to jump away. What great use of that jump pack tech to avoid the inevitable charge. Or at least it seemed that way. Lip has to be careful though. That Hammer's fighting him and he's low. Dex is going to clean him up there. Give him a case of tinnitus and a quick one-way ticket back to spawn. Dallas are in control of the point now. They flip it. Fate a little bit too late to step up with the Primal Rage, and he has it now, but really what can he do except stall? Sparkle, no Diva Mech means the Death Blossom is going to be extra nasty, especially with Flatter being as low as he is, but the Nano Boost keeps him alive. The bubble, the Cone of Silence gets thrown over Sparkle's head. Nothing he can do with that Death Blossom. Fearless is there though, he gets rid of Fate, and there's a Diva hacked on the point. Void is going to be ejected, and the self-destruct from Harbin claims him instantly. Desperation barrage from Flatter, but he's taken down midway through. Hanbin is the final blow, and Dallas Fuel take the first round, and it's close.
Oh, the bubble placement from Fate was perfect there, because they had the nano boost on the Fleta, as they have been nano boosting him, whether he's on the Echo or the Pharah. And the bubble is able to save Fleta, but there was a huge EMP from Doha. I believe it connects with like 5 players, and then the self-destruct, some Coalescence healing there towards the end from the Moira. We can take a look at this from Sparkle's POV. It's so hard for them to walk into the Reaper. This is when he connects with the Pharah in the Mercy.
Yeah, and that was the knockback of Void, I think. Void just tries to knock him out of the way, and instead it sends Sparkle careening into the Dragon's backline. Out of the gates here. Round number 2, Matthew. Symmetra on the field for Sparkle. It looks like he'll stick with it.
And it's going to be the Lucio with the Moira again for the Dallas Fuel. And they'll have Sparkle playing the Symmetra, which is interesting that the Shanghai Dragons go to the composition they're going to now. This is the one composition that was run a lot in NA that the Dallas Fuel are able to beat pretty handily using this type of composition. Just the Symmetra over time, building up the damage with this beam. It's just so difficult to deal with.
I mean, Lip almost had a kill there, but the Maywall from his own teammate, Flatter, kind of blocked the shot. Regardless, it looks like the neutral fight is pretty comfortably won by the Dragons, despite an odd Maywall. Lip didn't actually have to do the lion's share of the work in that fight.
No, he takes an off angle. They got Fearless extremely low, and they were able to push in, deal with the rest of the players from the Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel can't match this composition. The best they can probably do here would be like if Sparkle playing the Reaper again and trying to play the Reaper rush, with behind the Moiras. Wall not good enough to keep Fate in.
Shatter, that catches Doha there. No chance for him to get into Ice Block. Fate lets that one go as he's backing up, but the Dragons, they know the Fuel are already committed to this fight. The Coalescence was used by Fielder, and they've got to go. Here comes the Symmetra barrier, but the Gravitic Flux doesn't care about that one. Jex to take him down in midair, and Sparkle's looking worse for wear. Another cleanup for the Dragons, and they are miles ahead in this round.
As Jexa gets his sound barrier while in midair, wise though to hold it. No way you were turning that fight, as Dragons really look strong on this composition. Not exactly the mirror. You have the Batiste now coming in here for the Dallas Fuel, so really want that immortality field, just the overall healing and just damage output of Batiste. But you don't want to play as aggressive with the Moira.
Powerful ultimates on deck now for the Dallas Fuel. There'll be 2 Blizzards in play, so keep an eye out for those. Fearless, it's a flanking teleport. Shatter, it's there. He gets 3. Flatter, Lip, Void and Jagon get knocked down. Is the follow-up going to be there? Yes, Sparkle quickly snaps into action, steps up, follows up, and Fate is down.
And the reason you switch to the Batiste here if you're the Dallas Fuel is because you weren't able to win the neutral fight. When the one team has the immortality field, even with Moira's really good AoE HPS output, it's just not enough. You need the immortality field, and that's when Fielder makes a switch over to Batiste. So now let's see how this neutral game goes, because the Dallas Fuel should be able to last a little bit longer in it now.
Well, I think you want to give Sparkle time to charge up and actually eat through those shields. And if you're playing Moira, you don't really allow for that. So now at least the Symmetra might be a bigger factor. Amp Matrix, both sides used it, and Lee Jae-gon goes down first. Han been able to find some damage. Amped from the ultimate of Fielder. Fate on the back foot is an understatement here. He's lost Void now, he's offsider, and he's in deep trouble. Sparkle, yeah, he's charged up and ready to go.
Yeah, the thing with the Moira is you just have to play so aggro that you weren't able to make anything happen with it, where now you get way better usage out of the Symmetra. If you can just block off some of these side angles that we see Lip taking, and really just kind of make it a straight up fight and just live and extend the fight, that's when the Symmetra can keep regenning the damage that she puts out, get stronger, and take over later in the fight.
Lip is going to have a tough time if Sparkle puts down a decent wall here. Careful, Doha. A little bit out of position. Is forced to ice block early. Here's a Symmetra wall. Gravitic Flux. A lot of ultimates here. The question is, does that Blizzard get any value for the Dragons? It looks like that's not the case. Flutter just lets that one go. And the Dragons come up with absolutely nothing.
Blizzard in sound barrier used there for the Shanghai Dragons. And the Dallas Fuel have their own Blizzard in sound barrier available here. They're going to have an Amp Matrix 2. As soon as we've seen the switch to the Batiste, it's been all Dallas Fuel. As Shanghai trying to go around that left-hand side. They want to put some pressure on the point. They don't want to play here by the choke, but look how fast they can rotate with the teleporter.
Oh my, that is going to, that's going to keep Lee Jae-gon honest. He wants to be the aggressive Lucio, but he can't now. Oh no! The Dragons failed to touch the point. In fairness, they were at a distinct disadvantage, but sometimes when your Lucio gets headshot randomly, there's no chance to secure or guarantee that overtime. That might have been it there. Doha being able to find Lee Jae-gon and him saying, I cannot push any further. But Matt, you've got to give credit to the Fuel. They can actually slow it down. They might be the progenitors of this Lucio Moira comp, but when they have to play Batiste and sit back and play the neutral, they also look really good.
Yeah, once they brought in the Batiste, it was a huge difference maker. They were able to keep Fearless alive long enough, Sparkle alive long enough for him to start to ramp up on the Symmetra damage, and then just really cycled through their ultimates better. Shanghai really blew so much in that one fight where they ended up using the Blizzard, the sound barrier. They got absolutely nothing for it. So Dallas Fuel still looking strong in control. The next map being Assault is definitely going to look to be in Dallas's favor as well, as Shanghai is going to have to come up with something quick.
Absolutely. They've got a couple moments to do so stick around now as the Dragons go back to the drawing board and try to find a way to fire back after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed. We help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Hi, folks! Radical Hone here. The fine people down at the Overwatch League are offering you a deal that you are not gonna want to miss out on. Right now, for a limited time only, we've got tons of these Overwatch League perks. Jimmy down at shipping must have put a couple of extra zeros at the end of the order. We got so many Overwatch League perks, this roof's gonna buckle. Watch out, Jimmy. The boy's sweet, but if brains were leather, well, he'd have about enough to saddle a June bug. Just click right down here, connect your YouTube account to your Battle.net account, and by God, you're gonna start seeing these league tokens stack up higher than a Georgia pine. I've got legendary skins, I've got Overwatch League skins, and more to come. So come on, folks. Connect those accounts, get those perks, and let's make sure Jimmy here gets to keep his job. I'll tell you, his brain rattles around like a BB in a boxcar. That boy could flunk a blood test. There's a tree stump in Louisiana with a higher IQ. He's so stupid, he's my uncle and my brother.
Overwatch League perks. They make everything better.
The votes are in, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Fans that tune into the May Melee tournament from May 6th through May 8th, that's right now, by the way, can earn the Ana Overwatch League home and away skins. The away skins look really clean. You can link your account on YouTube today. Same way you get your tokens, fam. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what it'll be next month. But as an Ana main, I'm particularly happy with this one. Here's our top 10 tanks with our power rankings with IBM Watson coming into the May Melee tournament, Matt. And yes, obviously Void there at number 9. But both Fearless and Hanmin sit in the top 5. And we kind of hinted at that might be the point of strength for this Dallas Fuel roster in the matchup.
It's not really surprising. The Dallas Fuel, they don't have that McCree player that a lot of other teams do have. And they've just been playing a lot through these tanks. You see the difference that Fearless makes on the map. It's definitely easy to see. And Hanbin as well. Just tremendous player last year with the Paris Eternal, not missing a beat here now with the Dallas Fuel. The next map in the series, Mitch, is obviously the Shanghai Dragons pick. We do go to the Temple of Anubis, so this is interesting. Anubis, you can't really play like the Moira. I mean, you could play like Moira Lucio like on point 2, but really at the start you can't. There's good Widowmaker sightlines, which the Dallas Fuel can't utilize. A good Echo map, kind of forcing them into maybe like an Echo matchup. So Shanghai definitely trying to force the issue here, coming up with some different types of compositions that maybe the Dallas Fuel can't match.
Right, you teased this and said, like, generally speaking, this map type is a pretty good one for the Dallas Fuel, and you can see here way back in 2018, the Fuel have one of the fastest all-time runs on this particular map. But specifically, the Temple of Anubis might not lend itself to Dallas's core strengths in the same way as, I don't know, Volskaya or Hanamura, for that matter. Bear in mind, there's a lot on the line today. Obviously, we talk about sort of all these storylines of Fearless going up against his old team and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, there's 100K for first place, and even more importantly, 3 regular season match wins. Now, for Dallas, that's really relevant because they go 2-2 in the qualifiers, in the lead up to this event, right? So that rockets them straight to the top of the Western region in terms of those wins. That's a big deal.
And it gives them a little bit of a buffer right through the other tournaments if they don't place as high, run into a bad meta. But you think that with the Dallas Fuel, with how this team's constructed, and Tasmo Hastro said that they want to add another damage dealer to the lineup, it could be a team that just gets better throughout the season. It's not one that think you look at it now and say this is their peak.
I mean, who knows? I mean, especially with next month on the horizon, hero pools might even be a factor as well. Changes in the way that teams approach, and this constantly evolving meta that might actually have to grapple with that reality of the sort of Lucio Moira compositions that start popping up a little bit more. There's a lot to be looking forward to here, and we can expect things to change a whole lot. But for now, Dallas are thinking about exactly how they extricate themselves from some uglier matchups for them. Because you see here, Matt, the Dragons have Lip on the Ashe.
Yeah, it'll be Ashe with the Echo on defense, and you have the Mercy pocket. So this is something you're not going to see like Ashe come out for the Dallas Fuel. I was going to say, yeah, it looked like Doha was going to go back to the spawn, so he's going to play Sombra, so you'll have Sparkle on the Echo. So Echo Sombra here with the Winston and the Diva. They not play the Zarya here. They get a Biotic Grenade on Fate, and that allows them a little bit more space to move through the choke, and they connect with Fleta already.
Mind you, there's a Mercy on the side of the Dragon, so even in the presence of Jagon, they're able to find that kill. Hanbin also gets rid of the Jagon here. Dallas have some momentum to work with here, but Hanbin doesn't have a ton of backup. Biotic Grenade used defensively by Izayaki, especially in lieu of their Mercy being dead. That's important for the Dragons to stabilize on this high ground here, and Sparkle can't quite get to grips with Lip.
So you do have First Blood drawn by the Dallas Fuel, but not enough to be able to get a push and make some type of progress on the point. But have to be careful. The focusing beam from Echo kills you in the blink of an eye. If Fleta even gets a little bit low, they're going to try and take advantage of that.
Get back in the fight.
Again, the Dallas Fuel's composition may be one also designed to punish Fate or Void for extending too far. Look at that. See how they react when they see Fate pop up. He's going to get given a nano boost though, and Fielder's going to have to do the same for Fearless. Doha is clinging onto life right now, but it's about what Fearless can do here. He gets Coach Gun backwards as Hanbin is desuited. Fate is slept though, so that's a huge pick. Now Dallas could move with some momentum, but instantly Izayaki douses them in a Biotic Grenade. Two players can't be healed, and that stuffs Dallas's momentum.
Yeah, the Biotic Grenade there from Izayaki was huge. If he doesn't connect with that, maybe the Dallas Fuel are able to regroup and do something with that, but they also are trying to get, it was Doha who was getting hacks onto Fleta. So trying to limit the amount of duplicates, primal rages that Fleta can go in and cause. Ooh, the damage boost headshot there from the Ashe. Not going to live through that.
Nicely done by Lip, and he is absolutely keeping himself at a safe distance here. You see Void and Fate are just sort of interposed between him and the rest of the Dallas Fuel. Fleta also staying at a rather respectful distance, but there's a duplicate available for both Echoes. This could get messy. Fleta, okay, duplicates into a Brigitte here, but he isn't really close enough or in range to anyone to build up that rally, so he might not have a lot of healing available. Now with Fate going down, this could be a problem. The teams trade their main tanks. Jackson uses Rally, Sleek Dart on towards Void, but what can Dallas do with that? They get a Biotic Grenade onto Lip. That's gigantic. Sparkle also nano boost. I think he gives that one over to Hanbin here, and the Fuel are cooking with gas.
Yes, they want to get Hanbin on the point. They want to push up. They know that Fate is coming back, and he's going to have a Primal Rage. It's a big D-Mech, though, and it's going to be another nano here. This time, this is the one from Fielder, not from Sparkle coming in on Hanbin, as they push him all the way through.
Void can't remech, but that might not be an issue. Fate gets a very timely Primal Rage to clear up the point, and now Hanbin doesn't have any healers whatsoever. Looking for Lip, gets him very low. Lip has to get attended to by Jagon, but again, the Dallas Fuel pull up short. Only one tick on capture, and there's 40 seconds left, Matt.
But with Fleta having he puts down enough damage on Doha and then Lip finishes him off. You're not gonna be able to just ignore him, right? He's in the sky on the Echo. We know how good Fleta is already, last season's MVP. Just a damage boost, no hit scan on the other side to even threaten him. He's gonna pop off, picks up a bunch of kills towards the end. This will be Sparkle over to Tracer. This EMP from Doha has to be big if they're gonna make any progress on point A.
Absolutely, the Fuel aren't primed. They're not teched up for a long fight, Matthew. They've got Moira and they've got Lucio, and neither have key ultimates available. This is going to have to happen right now. That's an EMP, but Fleta somehow still gets a duplicate, and it's on a key target, the Winston, and he's charged up. He might have a primal here. Izayaki goes down, the Jexa is traded, and that's a big resurrect. Mercy's not available right now to the Fuel, and that's going to hurt them in the later fight. Again, this composition had to win a quick and decisive fight, but with Fleta getting a duplicate on a main tank and then getting a primal rage, that's huge. Hanbin self-destruct does claim the Echo, but really there's not much left to work with here for the Dallas Fuel. A pretty disappointing result, as they normally would feel confident coming into this sort of map type. Fate eats the pulse bomb. Sparkle goes down to Lip here. The Tracer duel won by the Shanghai Dragons. Wrecking Ball's done, and so are the Fuel for their attack.
And no answer for the Dallas Fuel for the Echo and the Ashe setup from the Shanghai Dragons. In Shanghai, obviously know what Dallas's weakness is, right? Playing that long-range hit scan is not something that the Dallas Fuel can do, or we've seen them do. And they take advantage of it. Now, the Mercy with the pocket on the Ashe and the Echo is so strong that really relying on these massive EMPs. But even when the EMPs are coming through, like the last one, as soon as the translocator goes in the sky, Lee Jae-gon uses the Valkyrie, so he's able to keep everybody alive even though he gets hacked. If you weren't landing those massive EMPs and taking advantage of them, you are never going to win with that composition, and they don't. They do get 50% on the point, so it's definitely not one that the Dallas Fuel are completely out of just yet, but it does not look good.
This is actually reminiscent of some of the compositions that the Houston Outlaws tried to use liberally to, I mean, just exploit that lack of long-range hit scan in the Dallas Fuel's arsenal. We often saw Dante, you know, opt to go for the Echo against them, and look, it's not to say that he can do whatever he wants, but there's definitely a lot less pressure on them, and if you decide to divert resources in terms of your Mercy to that Echo, you set them up to really overperform just the role of a single DPS there. And Dallas Fuel, I mean, listen, both times they got EMPs, Matt, Flutter's able to avoid it by duplicating a key target, a durable target, and then just buy a bunch of time. The Fuel, Tracer, Echo defense, and the Dragons are going to use Lip here. The Widowmaker comes out on attack.
Yeah, look, what you can do with the Widowmaker, if you just play point, if you're the Shanghai Dragons, with how much percentage you need, it's going to unlock crazy good sightlines for the Widowmaker, and all it takes is, you know, Lip to hit one shot to seal the deal. That's going to be Fearless down. Jexay goes down to the headshot from Lip as soon as he gets control of the choke. This should be Shanghai just rolling on in.
You can see the desperation. Doha tries to use Focusing Beam on a full health target, and it's really nothing more than a tickle at that point. Meticulous now from the Dragons as they really pick the Dallas Fuel apart, and they'll move to the point. This will be a pretty cut and dry map, I dare say. Temple of Anubis looks to be pretty one-sided. Fearless is doused by the grenade for him. He'll try and get away, but it's unlikely. He'll buy a little bit more time, but that is going to be that, and it's a tied series here. The Dragons know exactly what map to go to, Matt, and the Fuel don't really have an answer.
It's a fantastic map choice here for the Shanghai Dragons. If they would have went like Hanamura or Volskaya, a lot of other different kind of compositions that the Dallas Fuel can play to really avoid what they've avoided the entire tournament. Here they can't. They have to play, you know, some type of hit scan on the defense with the Mercy. They're not able to do it, and the Shanghai Dragons roll them. The issue with Shanghai now is you have a Dallas Fuel map pick, so they can take this to a map coming up that definitely favors some of the things they want to do a little bit more. Can Shanghai do these types of things on other maps, though? That's what'll be, you know, the big thing for this series. If they can, you may see it continue to go that way.
Well, maybe what's Hybrid coming up next here, and I can think of a few maps the Fuel might want to play. Let's see what they choose, though, as we come back after the break. It's a tight series, ladies and gentlemen. The Dragons have showed they're here to play, and they've definitely been thinking about their map picks. See you in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Not all 5G networks are created equal. You're simply the best! T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network.
제가 재능이 많아서 여기까지 온 게 아니에요. 프로의 길은 노력으로 길고 닦아야지만 끝까지 갈 수가 있어요.
Introducing Power Rankings with IBM Watson. With AI analyzing millions of Overwatch data points, heroes will be revealed.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Well, you want to know who's causing all this heartbreak for Dallas Fuel fans and backline players alike? It's this man on your screen. It's your Indeed player resume featuring Lip. Someone, and we forget this sometimes, I feel, but was a role star for Damage last year. Primarily, the Sombra was one of his most impressive picks. But what's shocked me so much about Lip so far, Matt, is that he busts out the Tracer yesterday after not really playing it at all so far this year, and had some actually disgusting statistics on that particular hero. So looking like an absolute natural, looking like a, already a player emerging as an MVP candidate with just how overperforming he is on that role that he rarely played much.
Yeah, now we know he's very strong on Sombra, the Ashe, Widowmaker. That time you saw him on the Ashe in the Widow on Anubis, which in the first time these teams played ended up in a draw. So Shanghai's able to take that one. In the first series between these teams as well, the next map is King's Row, as you see, but Dallas Fuel actually decided on Hybrid to choose Gibraltar. So this time they go King's Row, and maybe they want to go Gibraltar towards the end of the series, or they've seen some things. Gibraltar was really close, that they feel like they don't want to see Gibraltar. They want to go to King's Row here and maybe try and force something different.
All right, well, it's going to be the kind of map perhaps where the Dallas Fuel do get to leverage that Reinhardt play that's looked really very good for them. Some of Fate's best statistics over the main melee have emerged from playing Wrecking Ball primarily, which is something we see Feelers do less of.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I meant, where they did pick Gibraltar in the previous series, but then we also had Blizzard World in the series between these two teams. That was actually a Dragons pick. So they wanted to play the Wrecking Ball there. Dallas Fuel doesn't want to play those Wrecking Ball compositions.
Sure.
They want to have Fearless be able to play the Reinhardt and the Winston, so that's why you end up picking King's Row here. And they can go back to playing some of the stuff that you see them coming out right now. They can play this Reinhardt with the Sigma. They have the Batiste right off the bat, no Moira, and they can play really aggressive. We'll see if Shanghai continues to go with this, though, where they can play. You can play Pharah, right? You can play a little bit of Echo here. Maybe you see them play the Mei and match. They didn't look great in the mirror, though.
Some might be wondering why no Moira here on the defense for the Fuel, man. Different approach with the Batiste in here.
I mean, the Batiste was so much more effective on Lijiang Tower, right? As soon as they brought in the Batiste, they were able to live, sustain in these fights. Immortality field's massive. They weren't able to do that with the Moira in play. The Batiste also gives them a little bit of damage to the players up in the sky. So it'll be the Echo plus... no, it's going to be the Pharah. So Pharah plus Ashe here for Shanghai. This is a ton of damage, especially with the Mercy Pocket.
In the same way that Batiste benefits the Fuel in longer fights, so does Fletterer on the Pharah for the Dragons. Now it's really about how we can isolate individuals, and look at this already. Ice Block gets forced out, and Fletterer is going to be dangerous in this corner. Someone's going to stop him. And Accretion catches him, but he's already gotten Sparkle, and now he's about to get into the cookie jar big time, Matt. Complete control on the point here.
With how much damage he puts down, you can't rush somebody down. And you see the Shanghai, they back them up into the corner. They don't push in right away. They just let Fleta just keep poking the damage as Sparkle comes back on the Soldier 76.
But again, Hanbin's already been taken down, so that's one shield out of the picture. Void, okay, a little bit too close. Flew too close to the sun, maybe. Fielder looking in a dangerous position right now, but Fleta definitely gets around the amplification matrix so he can't get taken down by Batiste's damage and gets rid of Fearless. This is an elite performance right now from Fleta on the Pharah.
You're gonna have to change something for the Dallas Fuel, and maybe it is the Soldier 76. It's not... it's not the hit scan of choice, but if that's what you can play, that's what you can play. Is letting out, he'll lock in Echo. Not a ringing endorsement for Soldier 76. I know.
Really not.
I mean, just the McCree's a bit better with the flashbang. Just a little bit better. So we'll see now though. Sparkle on the Soldier. At least this is gonna make Fleta worry a bit.
Consistent damage, and there's definitely going to be consistent pressure as a result of Sparkle firing away with the heavy pulse rifle here. But again, that crowd control, the stun potential's not really there. So what does Sparkle do from this position? Not a whole lot. We're looking at him just trying to find some opportunity. Fearless cleans up Fate. He gets frozen, goes a little bit too close to the May here. But Lee J gone. What a perfect way. Just hovers below the windowsill, gets the resurrect. Now it's going to be Doha forced into an ice block. Comes out, not full health, by the way. Lip deals with Fearless and is the Yaki. That's nice. Bionic Grenade catches 2, and the Fueler struggling to find out how to deal with the Dragons' very airborne composition.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the Dallas Fuel in the sense that the Shanghai Dragons made this work on the Temple of Anubis, dominated there so far. They see no answer again for the for what the composition they're running. The Dallas Fuel may try and get a touch here. They have a speed boost. They have a shatter here for Fearless. But look at that shield, just taking so much damage.
He shattered and he got slapped. He loses his ultimate entirely. Fearless, he doesn't have time to worry about that though. They managed to get rid of Flutter. He was brought back into the fight, but there's now going to be a sound barrier for the Dallas Fuel. Sparkle is going to return with a tactical visor, but Fearless's shield can only hold out so long. Harvey now has to deploy the defense matrix to give Reinhardt a time to recharge, and they step off the card. A critical error. Dallas Fuel with 6 players, but they give up the checkpoint anyway.
And they're going to use Tac Visor and the self-destruct here just to give them some type of space. And I mean, you use these 2 ultimates as you see how aggressive they're trying to go for Void. So Izuyaki still alive here as well. So coming back for this next fight, all the Dallas Fuel are going to have is this Amp Matrix. So you can nano Fate here, send him in, you have the Bob. You're still in tremendous position for Shanghai.
Fate rebuffed briefly, but still looking to find his way into the back line. Amp Matrix, he stepped past it into the back line now. Flutter goes down to an Amped Fire Strike from Fearless. That is not easy to do as a Reinhardt player. And now with Fate going down, the Fuel should be able to reassume control. Crucially, there were some ultimates used in that fight as Izuyaki and Fate use their ultimates. And the Dragons get nothing for it, but Matt, please don't tell me. The narrative was all about Dallas Fuel overcoming their lack of hit scan player. Surely the story of them losing a map here, or potentially this series, can't have anything to do with that. Surely it's not they lose because they can't play long-range hit scan.
I mean, considering how many metas and whatnot have been dominated by that long-range hit scan, it's not something out of the question, but that'll be a 5-player EMP for Doha. And this will be a copy, though, from Fleta onto the D.Va, so you're going to have an extra tank out on the field as they take out Fearless. He's just getting blown up, man. When you have the Echo in the mix, in the ashes, this will be a self-destruct into the back. Doesn't connect anything.
No, but there was no Reinhardt in play, Matt, so the Fuel all had to run out of line of sight. They had to give up all this extra space because their Ryan couldn't just stand with his shield up and protect them from the blast. And they gave up strong positions, which means the Drags can continue stuffing them back into the corner here. Again, Fate goes a little too far, but Doha still picked up by Void. Still going to be crucial here as neither DPS player from the Fuel really has ultimates, and here's another bomb. 2 bombs in the space of 30 seconds, neither find kills, but both force Dallas out of ideal positioning. Now they're stuck in the corner. Uncle Dursley's put him in the bloody closet under the stairs, but they've got to fight back. They're going to emancipate themselves here. Let's hear from the Shanghai Dragons and some of their comms in these last moments.
파티 미트 망치는 탱커 있겠다. 얘네 EMP도 나 채워줘. 탱커 EMP 발키리 채우는 게
좀만 그 뒷라인하고
Dragons pull up a little bit short there. Fearless now has at least an Earth Shatter coming into the next fight. There will be a Primal on board for the Dragons.
And being able to hold here for the Dallas Fuel would be a huge win in order to really kind of keep this map alive. As the Shanghai were rolling, now that's big. You get a kill on the Fate. You can push up a little bit now. You don't have to use a ton of your ultimates. You get a hack on the Fleta, and now you can start to kind of build some more ultimates of your own. Doha will end up with an EMP here for the next fight. So now Dallas is starting to get rolling a little bit. With the Soldier 76 in the Sombra, not a typical composition, but they're playing around their strengths, right?
I mean, the Dallas Fuel just got through one of the rockiest parts of their ultimate economy. They're in a big trough. They didn't have much to work with. Now, they're actually blessed with many ultimates. We'll see what the tactical visor looks like here or how Hanbin can be controlled. Maybe you follow it up with an EMP tac visor. Not the most common ability combo, but still effective here.
That was your Primal Rage used there in Bob, just to get them space to get back towards the card. Now you're going to nano Fate, but that's going to be a big EMP.
EMP tac visor, Jagon falls down first. I think Fate tries to hide behind the box stack in the back corner, and sure, they let him go for now because Izayaki and Fleta had already fallen. Matt, that is the second time in this part of the map that Fate has gotten a Primal Rage and not been able to create a big opportunity for the Dragons with that displacement.
No, they used the Bob and then the Primal Rage, and he just kind of went towards the high ground, and they just waited for the Nano. This is interesting. They're going to play very slow. They want to poke at a distance, do damage.
Wow.
You have the Batiste with the Orisa swaps here for Shanghai.
Fate doesn't want to try and dive anymore, but this self-destruct forces him away from the shield. He even fortifies just to maybe make sure he's not booped into the drink by Jexa. But Jagon's gone down. Doha switches over to the Hangzhou now, and the Fuel looks like they've found a new level, a new rhythm, man. They bring a Hangzhou Soldier 76 composition in, and the Dragons bring Orisa. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to... Well, they didn't expect the Hangzhou switch. When the Hangzhou switch comes in, now it's just so much damage with that lower Orisa shield now. And they're not able to do anything. Yeah, the ball switch just to try and get back towards the card. Is Fatal get a touch to force OT? It doesn't look good, though.
No way, he's down, and that's it. The Fuel, they find themselves at the critical moment, Matt. Oh, you saw how close to the end of the map that cart got. So both the main tanks, or sorry, both the tanks of the Dragons just sat there sailing it in, and still the Fuel bounced back. Such an unlikely composition to do it with as well.
The Orisa Batiste makes sense when they have the Sombra 76. It's just pretty low on overall damage, especially when you're running the Echo and the Ash and you have the Mercy damage boost. And then you also throw your own Batiste in the mix. But the Hangzhou then, Hangzhou with 76, being able to control some of the high ground with Hangzhou, pressure the shield out, that's when things really turn for the Dallas Fuel towards the end. And the really smart switch there from Doha. But the Sombra with the 76 comp definitely gave Shanghai some trouble. Did not expect that. As Soldier, we've seen him a bit throughout the May Melee. Always a bit of a meme when you get the Soldier 76, as he's not the first hit scan you go to. Really kind of the last, as we take a replay here from Fearless's POV. Just looking for a shatter on anybody. Gets right past the shield. That's a big one. It's just weird stuff from the Dallas Fuel. Like, you can't practice. Nobody's gonna play those type of compositions, right? Especially like later in the game.
Surely not, Sparkle. Widowmaker here probably just locked for that first little bit of play. In fairness, Sparkle was the one that unexpectedly sort of busts out the Tracer and looks more than serviceable on that hero. So, I don't know, like, there is definitely room for growth here for the Fuel, and Sparkle has been stepping up to fill some of these emptier roles.
This is what they did on Lijiang Tower. And they get a hack on the Mercy, and they're going to try and kill Lijiang here. Gets so low.
Fleta knows his window to have an impact is very slim, and in that window he finds Fielder. That's pretty darn good. Fate has gone down here, and the Dragons do not have a Lucio to taxi him back into the fight. But still, it's a good way to win the fight, and with a staggered Diva, now there'll be enough time for Fate to be back and ready for the next engagement.
And that's what you want for the Dallas Fuel. They get a hack on Lijiang, they're able to keep him alive, but they end up losing Fate. But the Echo from up in the sky, just able to do tons of damage, burn players down. I mean, Fleta's already got a duplicate coming in the second fight.
Oh my. Fate hacked. He's in trouble. He's down. Sparkle able to find a kill, and Fleta now has to be the Winston that the Dragons need. Fielder is removed by Void. He dives that backline with Jexa going down. It's a great recovery from Shanghai. Fleta builds that Primal Rage and does everything that the Dragons need of him. This Echo play is just unbelievable.
It's the same type of thing, though, that we just talked about. As, they got to go in to try and keep Fleta alive. It goes a little bit too far. As the Dallas Fuel able to get the first pick again. You get a hack, you're able to target a player, finish them off, but they just res it, and then they have the Echo duplicate. This will be an EMP that's going to connect with 3.
Coalescence is there as well, and yeah, that should be enough to keep the Fuel standing. Sparkle gets plenty of that Coalescence. Bob is used on the point here. The Fuel wanted a quicker fight, but Bob doesn't really want to let that happen. Doha goes down. Jagon gets the slappers out. Okay. Fearless is the Primal Rage now, is able to isolate Lijiang, who gets the Nano Boost. The Dragons care so much about keeping their Mercy alive, and in the fight that it's Lijiang that gets a Nano, and they're still fighting. Sound Barrier now comes out from the Dallas Fuel, and Sparkle has a Death Blossom, time to bring it down. And so Lip and Izayaki crumble. And now we've got a Reaper in the backline. Fate has nowhere to go, and Sparkle saves what could have been a rough fight for the Fuel again.
As it was a big Death Blossom from Sparkle on Li Zhang Tower that connects with the Forearm Mercy. This time it's a 2K with the Death Blossom yet again. So the Dallas Fuel will be able to unlock the payload. And what's probably really kind of beneficial here for the Dallas Fuel is this may have been the worst part of the map to play the Reaper on. As you move towards the street space and those fights get obviously a little bit closer, you know, with the chokes narrowing, this is when the Reaper can be a little bit more effective. As Fearless will go over to Rhine, so you get the Reinhardt in the mix. This really, you want to get the Reinhardt and the Reaper in the mix, run a player down with a hack, and take him out.
Doha able to build up towards another EMP already. The duplicate from Fleta, though, will be crucial. He did such a good job earlier on of countering it, and again, Fleta gets a duplicate. This time it's onto a Reaper, but Fate's already gone down. The front line from the Dragons is limping. Void turns tail and tries to get away, and Fleta uses a defensive Death Blossom to try and prevent the Fuel from advancing. It actually works. Fearless and Jexer get split off as they go so aggressive, but in the later stages of the fight, the Fuel come alive here, and it's the Coalescence that comes halfway through, Matt, that punishes Fleta.
Yeah, they get it. Actually, they connect with the Sleep Dart onto Fearless, and they start to go. They get the Sleep Dart onto Fearless, and then Fleta gets the copy on the Sparkle, and they walk right into Doha's EMP. So that fight, though, Lip able to build up an EMP of his own. So see how it goes when he pops this one coming back in the next fight. Doha almost with another EMP of his own as he's building these up quite quick too. Self-destruct, buy some space, coming on in.
Yeah, Fate has to use his own bubble though, and that could be nasty now as he tries to advance. Here's the EMP. This time it's from Lip, but Sparkle's Reaper. He can hang around without the use of his abilities for a while, and he has a Death Blossom available. Fate has a Primal Rage. He does well to stay alive, and now he'll use it straight away. He can't take any risks with a Reaper in the mix. He'll be pushing, and he pushes hard. Fielder comes back with a Coalescent Zone. Sparkle's protected somewhat by Defense Matrix, but it doesn't last for long enough. Harbin, though, is still able to use that window to get rid of Fleta, but the Dragons have the numbers.
Yeah, the Dallas Fuel are going to end up losing this fight as Hanbin just tossing himself off the side. Everybody else trying to back up as Shanghai knows there's a few players caught out here. As Doha still there too. But when you mentioned a great point, you know, when Lip lands that EMP, Sparkle doesn't really care, right? Reaper's not a DPS who relies on his abilities to, you know, get a ton of work done. Really, Reaper's fine without any of his abilities. Good survivability too. So Jexay with a Sound Barrier here. You could get aggressive with it. Sound Barrier Shatter. See, it looks like the Dallas Fuel want to try and fight for this high ground.
Drop down now, knowing that there'll be Fate above them. Another EMP for Lip, by the way. Ridiculous stuff. Doha's going to have one too, but it's going to be a little later. If it goes now, Doha won't have a chance. There it is. EMP comes back the other way. It only affects Fleta and Void, though, and Sparkle's gone down. Yatsa, his survivability not limited as much, but he still can't Wraith walk away. Void, desuited, Fearless finds excuse me! Fearless finds Fleta with a charge! He was hacked! He couldn't fly away! Boots on the ground was not the game that he wanted to play! Wrong developer, I guess! Jagon taken down by Jexer, and now the Fuel, they get that second checkpoint, Matt. 2 minutes, 24 on the clock.
Yeah, they're able to get Sparkle, but it's a Shatter at the end of that EMP. Like you mentioned, he knocks down Fleta. So he really, Fleta with the duplicates has done a ton of work here. But since they've switched over to this composition, the Dallas Fuel, there apparently hasn't been a huge impact. And now Sparkle goes over to Soldier 76 again. So Soldier plus Batiste here to try and close the map out for the Dallas Fuel.
It's bizarre, especially because now Dallas Fuel don't have any DPS that can really make use of the high ground. Hanbin will be alone if he tries to go up and clear. Hack on Fearless. It's got to be a Sound Barrier now because Fearless was also hit with a Biotic Grenade and a Sleep Dart and the Kitchen Sink. Is that going to be enough to shut him down? Sparkle's in trouble. He can't get away from Fate's Primal Rage, and here he comes jumping into the mix. Fearless is out at sea, and I mean that literally. Surrounded by a roiling mass of Dragons players, he's finally dragged down.
And he had a duplicate there as well. Fleta actually duplicating the Hanbin on the Diva. You have EMP here for both teams. I feel like if you're the Dallas Fuel, you almost, if Lip uses the EMP, you almost just let that fight go. You'll have an Ant Matrix, a Shatter, you'll have Attack Visor to potentially close it out. I wouldn't, if you're the Dallas Fuel, like you kind of want to go quick here and maybe not invest as heavy as, that'll be a Shatter opening things up there from Fearless. It'll be an EMP from both sides.
Yeah, I think Fielder's in danger in the back line. He's actually able to get an Immortality Fielder now. Sparkle comes in with a Tactical Visor. Can he find Fleta? He can! Fleta can't dump altitude quick enough to get away from the aimbot. Lee Jae-gon is stuck in the corner. Sparkle, though, doesn't bite off more than he can shoot. Knows that Fate's a threat from above, so he backs up, and now Fate is punished. This is the Dallas Fuel on the home stretch here, and they are going from strength to strength. There'll be a self-destruct on that right-hand side available to Hanbin, but that's about all right now. The Dragons, conversely, have nothing to work with. They make a bunch of switches just for mobility, but they don't have ult percentage. Void is desuited. Fate has to step up now and make something happen, but it's all blue, all over the kill feed, and he's a Yuck he can't touch. The Dallas Fuel get King's Row. They play the wackiest compositions, but the legs make it happen.
Just lock the legs, right? I mean, who would have thought? As all we talked about really all stage long is that the Dallas Fuel can't play the hit scan. They don't have anybody who can pick it up. That's true for the Widow, the Ashe, and the McCree, but Sparkle comes out on the Soldier 76. It's a huge reason why they were able to hold on defense, and then on the offense, using it at that last moments to attack. Comes up big. That is definitely an interesting strategy that I'm sure Shanghai was not expecting.
No way. I mean, I guess the Fuel knew they'd struggle against this Echo kind of play, but you see that Tac Visor just clip Fleta's wings and bring him back down to earth. Good response here from the Dallas Fuel, and we might be set up for quite the series. Remember, it's first to 4. Many more maps in the works to come, so don't go anywhere. This is the Overwatch League May Melee Grand Finals.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Made your choice?
Get 5G coverage that goes yard. T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
All the stories, all the insights. Introducing Power Rankings with IBM Watson. With AI analyzing millions of Overwatch data points, heroes will be revealed.
제가 재능이 많아서 여기까지 온 게 아니에요. 프로의 길은 노력으로 길고 닦아야지만 끝까지 갈 수 있어요.
Beyond the veil lies the Shadowlands,
where every soul has its place. World of Warcraft Shadowlands, available now.
Welcome back. It is halftime of our Mayhem League Grand Finals match. Dallas Fuel has a 2-1 map lead. Now, Costa, walk us through the action as we started on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, we're really seeing the value of your map choice show up on this series as they go back and forth between maps. On Lijiang, Dallas looking very comfortable with their picks. You can see why they chose Lijiang Tower off the bat. They looked very set with that symmetric strategy with the Reinhardt on control center. But this map, this could have gone to Shanghai. I think every hero was played at this point. There was like a 20-minute stall, at least what it felt like. But it was just such a good back and forth, and this sort of set the pace for the rest of this series, as I think both teams really coming out firing today.
Absolutely. Well, we then moved over to Anubis, and this one was all dragons. That one was a little painful. I literally blinked and it was kind of over. So Reinforce, why don't you refresh everyone's memory and talk us through it?
Yeah, well, this one was all the story about Flera's Echo, really. I think Shanghai Dragons, they have some incredible counter dives here, going up against Dova Sombra, which didn't get a ton of value with these EMPs, but Shanghai Dragons displayed on real discipline, really, playing this point A defense. They managed to draw out these long team fights and really being able to poke down the Dallas Fuel time and time again. So Flera's Echo came in clutch here on Temple of Anubis. It was a really short one, but this also really demonstrated that Shanghai Dragons, they're not to be disregarded, and this is really what you wanted to see if you're a Shanghai Dragons fan. Flera was firing on all cylinders on that one. Really good.
Now afterwards, King's Row was the map choice for the Dallas Fuel, and I heard from both of you, Reinforce, as well as you, Costa, that you weren't quite sure about that map choice for Dallas. Why is that?
Yeah, it's a weird one. We've seen a lot of, as much as it doesn't seem like it, you can get a lot of air superiority here, and we saw that Fleta comes out on that fire on that first point and just looked to take it the whole way home. Shanghai Dragons looking very dominant, and you can see Dallas not really having a great solution with a lot of their hero picks, and they just weren't very comfortable. Obviously, they did have a good hold at the end, but I don't know. I just wasn't really sold on everything that we saw from the Dallas Fuel and why they would take them there. Obviously got there at the end, but I think that's more on Shanghai Dragons making some really poor mistakes on that third point with their engages.
Well, I want to talk about the hero picks here specifically. Reinforce, Sparkle going back to that 76 again, showing them legs.
Bring out the legs.
It's not a very common pick right now. Why does he make it work? Why does he pick it? What's the thought behind this, you think?
I mean, it's incredibly niche, and neither me or Costa were going to sit here and say that it was the obvious pick, because this really wasn't the obvious pick. I think that Sparkle is trying to up the tempo of this matchup quite indeed, because McCree, pretty slow hero. Yes, it counters Sombra somewhat. Yes, it counters some of these heroes you're playing. But I think that McCree is so slow that it's also pretty vulnerable. That's when Fate can get in, dive in on that Winston and really get tons of value. Soldier, you step on the gas pedal a little bit. You can go for flanks, you can disrupt the Sombra gameplay. You're quite in your face, you're poking away at your opponents quite a lot. So I think this pick actually quite makes sense, because you can shoot down the Echo and you can be very oppressive against the Echo flying around, Flera that is. But you can also flank around and poke holes in your opponent's armor. So a very rare niche pick, I will say, but it does quite work out against what the Shanghai Dragons are playing. So this is really the very highest level you get away with some of these niche picks, because you find a way to make it work against very, very specific compositions. Brilliant from Sparkle.
Absolutely. I mean, he uses that tempo, right? Yes, Danny.
Yeah, no, I feel like Dallas did win King's Row, and it was really close. I'm just worried because Fleta and Lip were just having a field, and if this continues, I'm not too sure if Dallas could keep it up. So I'm a little worried.
Well, let's talk about heading into that second half. I mean, Dallas is currently in the lead 2-1, but things can change very, very quickly. We're heading into a map which is going to be picked by the Shanghai Dragons. So ultimately, what do you want to see from the Shanghai Dragons coming into this next map, Costa?
Oh, I think Johnny summed it up really well, and I'll toss him at the end. But I think if I'm the Dragons, they just need to be playing in a better unit. As Danny said, Lip and Fleta are firing on all cylinders, but their synergy with Fate just isn't there. I think Fate is really the pressure point the Shanghai Dragons have been getting pushed, and he keeps getting punished, right, Johnny?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I'm seeing from Fate on the Winstons particularly is that he's being targeted. It's an incredibly difficult matchup, because you're seeing him play against Sombra, against Reaper. It's very hard to play Winston in these matchups, and you can see 8.8 deaths per 10 minutes. That's not what we typically see from someone like Fate, who is very skillful. But I think the problem right here is he's trying to engage too hard. He's using his leap offensively rather than defensively. He just has to make space for the rest of his team, which is, you know, Fleta, of course. But you can also try to stay alive longer and use your leap as a disengaged rather than an engaged. And I think that would help the Dragons massively here. Fate needs to stay alive, because if he keeps going in and dying early, that's not going to help them in the slightest. And that happened a lot on King's Row. I want to see Fate stay alive and use his leap more defensively in the second half.
And it definitely looked like the Dallas Fuel are very aware of that, and they have been using this very factor. They have been seeing this as their win condition in a lot of those team fights. So let's see how both of those teams fare heading into the second half of this very grand final. Now, Danny, it is time for Pringle's bold predictions, and it's your birthday. That means your word is the law. What you got for us?
It's a law. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty bold. Like, I know I mentioned in pre-show that Lip's Tracer is way better than Sparkle's Tracer, but I'm gonna be bold and say, I don't know when this is gonna happen, but it's going to happen. Sparkle versus Lip, Tracer versus Tracer, and Sparkle is just gonna dominate. He's gonna put Lip to the ground and say, hey, hey, I'm above you. Hey, sit. He's gonna sit.
Sit.
Whoa.
Sometimes you gotta tell him to sit.
Right. Was that bold enough? That was a bold prediction.
That's pretty bold.
Guys,
That's pretty bold. What do you reckon is the possibility of this reinforce?
I mean, there's definitely a chance. I wouldn't necessarily bet on it. I think that Sparkle might not even opt into the Tracer duel in the first place, so we might not even see a lot of Tracer versus Tracer. But so that makes it a bold prediction, I guess, Danny. Yeah, that's pretty bold. I'll take it.
Finally doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. He's the first one who gets the assignment right. So kudos to Danny.
I got checkmate. That's bold. Come on.
Yeah, I guess that was bold, but it was also very random, so it didn't feel like there was much. And it didn't feel like you were behind your bold prediction, to be honest. I didn't feel like you were invested. Danny, I feel like, is emotionally tied into his bold prediction. And
I am.
Like
I'm very tied into my prediction.
Well, we're heading into a very quick break, but coming up, we're going straight back into game action with map 4 of the Mayhem Elite Finals.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.
Hey, this is where we dance. This is where we...
Well, we pretty much expected this, Matthew. Tit for tat map wins from both of these teams, and both teams obviously winning on their map picks. Obviously, with two teams that we have here, the Dragons and the Fuel, that have very different styles, or at least different strengths in different areas. Are you really surprised to see this? Do you expect this to continue now?
I mean, with how the map picks have really shaped the entire meta of the main melee, from the qualifier matches, knockout, to the Final Four here, not really that surprising. It's the teams that have been able to kind of take maps from the other team on their specific map choices have been the teams who have gotten quite creative and been able to do stuff. And like the Soldier 76 pick, that's a map pick by the Dallas Fuel, but they need to get creative to stop what Shanghai was doing. The next map in the series will be Gibraltar, so this is another map, almost like Anubis, where you can play some of that long-range hit scan, like you can put the lip on the Widow or the Ashe, whichever you want, and play from a distance. This is going to be difficult for the Dallas Fuel again. This is not one where you have like the shorter sightlines with like a lower skybox where the 76 can become like really strong. Like 76 can't really play at range with anybody on this map. I did think, though, Johnny made a good point with the 76. Is like it's really the Dallas Fuel want to up the tempo. They want to play fast. They want to force mistakes. They want to play fast. That's something that the Soldier 76 does give you. Obviously, with the sprint, with just the consistent damage. It doesn't have to reload that often when it does rather quickly. It's something you can do with Soldier that you can't do with a lot of other hit scans like the McCree.
Obviously, both of those hit scans don't have a ton of verticality here, and sometimes the coach gun for Ashe can really help her get into some of these positions. The Dallas Fuel have shown on this particular map as well that they have a myriad of different compositions that they can show. If they have to play Winston, I say have. I mean, Fearless is one of the very, very best on that role, and they will. Dallas here might be hovering sort of a Brigitte-based composition, but the Dragons aren't. And this is maybe not a huge surprise, Matt, considering that they really want to facilitate Lip. They want to set him up for success, give him this damage boost, so that Sparkle and Doha have got to be extra careful about trying to hit that back line.
Now, and both teams have to feel really confident about their game on Gibraltar. In the first series, this was the fourth map. And the Shanghai Dragons won Blizzard World, so it was a Dallas Fuel pick. This time, it's a Shanghai Dragons map pick. It's a very close map in that first series, but see how Shanghai kind of adapts from the other day. That matchup that they had against the Dallas Fuel. Tries to get a win here on Gibraltar. They'll have the Ashe, like we were talking about. They'll play Ashe Tracer. You can't really, I mean, the Echo here is so vulnerable, even in non-hit scan. There's just, she's so slow floating from the ground to the ground that it's very easy target here.
Yeah, sometimes you want to drop altitude if you can, and she just can't do that quickly at times. So it makes her so vulnerable to Deadeye, for example. Good chase there on Fearless. You saw the pressure from Fleta really starting to mount already. Car will be moving. Flip wants to try and punish whoever's hiding around that corner. And he's doing a decent job here. Fielder's in a bit of danger, but he goes for a sleep dart on a likely connection. There might be follow-up here. There is!
He's going to get out, though. That's where the coach cut. You can get to that high ground. I want to say, though, Izayaki could be huge here with the Discords. The Discord plus the Ashe damage, it's going to be very difficult for Fearless and Hanbin to get in position and stay healthy when in position.
Oh, that biotic grenade, though. That was so nasty. Fielder, what a huge connection. Fate again getting targeted. 8.8 deaths per 10 minutes in that previous map, Matt. And this one again, it looks like the Fuel are trying to shut things down from the front line first. Izayaki tries for a salvo of orbs there, but can't stay alive with a nano-boosted Winston. Fearless won't overcommit here, but get a bit of extra damage because he wants his primal as soon as possible. There's a hacked mini health pack. He'll be able to get multiple of those, but Void chases him down. He needed time to heal up, and Void didn't want to give it.
And the cart doesn't make a ton of progress because the Bob from Lip just goes on and contests the entire time. So the Dallas Fuel, they make a bit of progress, but you're not going to get very close to completing the map as Sparkle with a pulse bomb, he'll end up falling. That was a situation he was in there like basically 1-on-5. And now for the Dallas Fuel, you have an EMP coming up. EMP plus Rally could be a big combination, but with everybody playing up on the high ground, it's going to be difficult to connect with everybody, and even if you do get the tanks, try and burst them down, it's going to be tough.
Transcendence available for Izayaki here, which likely means he'd have to drop off the high ground in order to provide that. And there's still a risk of getting hit with a biotic grenade for anyone but him. He'll be invulnerable during the channel. Here's the rally. Jexa, and you can see here Hanbin wants to control that high ground, so at all times, if you'll know where the tanks are coming from, Fleta loses a pulse bomb to Hanbin, he eats that one right up, and he's at 700 points of health with that rally armor. Hanbin just ignores the Zenyatta. He knows the Transcendence is coming, so he sits here on the high ground, and Fate did get hit with a Biotic Grenade, but he isn't punished even though he's inside that Transcendence. Hanbin tries to re-soup it. Izyaki's too sharp.
Well, Fearless ends up using Primal to force out the Transcendence. They're just not able to kind of keep everybody topped up and healthy to kind of fight this. Is now maybe you can. A nano boost onto Fearless, you have the EMP to take advantage here. With Shanghai used just about everything. So Lee Jae-gon's going to have to hide, make sure he gets his Valkyrie off.
Fearless wants to play aggressive, he wants to make the plays, it's just hard with the Zenyatta. Constantly looking to stick that Discord orb to him. Basically says, kick me if I'm honest. Sparkle trying to work around the periphery, but Hanbin's already gone down here. Looks like Lip was just getting a lot of chunk damage into him. EMP, it's not interrupted, it gets off, and Fate goes down, but Doha gives his life for it to the high ground. Lip's getting pressured out, but has Bob, but it's a big Biotic Grenade onto 2. Fleta forced to recall into that one, but the backline for the Fuel is gone. And they are making limited progress on this map.
I mentioned Izayaki could be a huge difference maker, but the Mercy play has been huge here for the Shanghai Dragons. Overall in the series, being able to get a res there is massive. The Valkyrie to keep everybody topped up through the EMP. Doha will go over to the Genji to try and make something happen late.
Not normally the Genji player on this team, but something with a bit of mobility is going to be required. Sparkle already on the Tracer. Quite a throwback composition, this one. Fleta wards Sparkle away from the cart. We're now into overtime. To the high ground, that was Fearless on a drive-by, trying to get up there. Fate has a Primal Rage. He's going to use it inside that small room, but Fleta goes down. Doha finds the kill, and Sparkle has a Pulse Bomb. He's waiting desperately, licking his lips for Jae-gon to come and touch the ground. That Transcendence is in play, but Pulse is still lethal to targets of 200 or less health. It gets stuck to Fate instead. He does go very low in fairness, trying to escape to the high ground. Doha gets rid of Izayaki, and the switch to the Tracer Genji composition for Dallas. It works. It pays off, Matt. Void desuited on the card, and the Fuel get to play the rest of the map.
In the final moments, Fleta will just dive onto the cart. Everybody now getting the back spawn here for Shanghai, but this is going to allow the Dallas Fuel to get some high ground control. So it was a pick from Doha that opened things up. Fearless with a beautiful Primal Rage, as usual. Keeps it alive, and now Lip is going to move off of the Ashe. Doesn't want to try and deal with all the dive that's going to come through. Going to play his Sombra, try and catch out the, whether it's a Genji of the Hack or Fearless.
Lee Jae-gon switches to Brigitte here.
Nanoblade here.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought we'd actually see that in this tournament? Here it is. Nanoblade goes in for Doha. He gets a lot of air and is able to stop Jae-gon before he can get potentially stunned. No dash available for Doha. Waiting 5 seconds is not an option. He eventually gets brought down by Lip, but still, the kills go in favor of the Dallas Fuel. 4v4 for a moment, but Lip gets taken down. Fleta's trying to get Fearless's attention. Couple slaps to the back of the head, like an Italian father, does the job. Now Fleta's going to return back to the card again. It's just going to be Sparkle here just to harass. And Doha, that's a switch to Echo.
Which is interesting because this is like kind of something that almost Shanghai would want to play, right? With the Tracer and the Echo was the Dallas Fuel, and pulling it out here is Doha can control the high ground. Izayaki with a nano boost could use it on the Fate here. Is doing a great job controlling the payload.
Jae-gon uses his bash to try and punish Sparkle, but he blinks in a direction that Lee Jae-gon does not expect. From behind, Sparkle has to recall. It was Fleta the whole time, harassing him. He's actually able to avoid the EMP because he recalled at that exact moment, but Fearless has already gone down. The self-destruct buys enough space for Lee Jae-gon and Void to get the resuit, but Doha still causing so many problems from above. He gets rid of Izayaki, that's huge. Focusing beam, Lee Jae-gon's forced away, and Hanbin's trying to chase him down. There could be the kill finish there. Doha is such a menace, and Lee Jae-gon eventually goes down. Yes, Hanbin gets desuited, but it's really just Void on the cart right now. The focusing beam takes a big chunk out of him. As soon as Fate returns to the fight, he's down to 10% of his health, but he's so annoying to deal with that bubble. Doha's trying to get through, but he gets hit with a Biotic Grenade from Izayaki.
Yeah, but you're going to have Fearless use a Primal Rage up at the high ground as he gets back into the fight. They're going to deal with Void, so you just have a Fate here who's going to fall low as you have a duplicate if you wanted to finish it off, but the switches from the Dallas you'll look to have paid off because they're going to take this second checkpoint. Not a ton of time to complete the map. You players still get this front spawn though. Yeah, as now Shanghai are going to have to play around this EMP. after they lost the one player, they end up losing its fielder to Fate with a nano boost. It was Jexay with a rally to keep himself alive and then work his way back to the car. Because everybody else for the Dallas Fuel was pushing on through. They were getting kills, they were doing enough damage. You just had a scenario where you almost lost both supports. This should be a big EMP from Lip.
Duplicate on the Doha. He actually got hacked instantly. Can he survive it? Lip also going very low, and somehow the Fuel keep Doha alive. He has plenty of time to build a Primal, and he has it. But Hartman's already gone down. You can see the Fate's in the backline with a Primal Rage of his own. And Izayaki just retreats back into the spawn. Doha realizes he has to get away, but he gets blocked by some of the piping, almost caught as a result.
I wonder if you're the Dallas Fuel, if you want to commit to this composition. You don't have a ton of time. That'll be a Pulse Bomb connected onto Fearless, but a Nano Boost saves him.
And he has a jump pack available, so he can still actually get value out of this, and Fate might be caught. A very timely nano boost there to Fate to keep him in the fight. A big bite of grenade though. Fearless hit with that one, and he's hacked. Really nothing he can do to stay alive. Sparkle, dodging, ducking, diving, weaving. Izayaki trying to pressure. One more hit will get the job done, but he cannot catch the elusive Ana. And now Lip returns to defend. Sparkle doesn't get what he came for, but at least Dallas get rid of Fate and a big bio on a Void, who may be desuited if he doesn't run away.
What?
Oh no! In the spawn! They're gone down! Jacob and Izayaki go missing! I mean, that is insane. Sparkle pushes all the way into the enemy spawn, and now there's an EMP from Lip and catches two, but he goes down instantly. The Dragons don't have the players to make a decent comeback right now, but they don't have the time to assemble their forces. Lee Jae-gon is in rally, but he's being knocked back, knock around, up and down, off the map, you better believe it. Fledder's taken down by the self-destruct, and there it is, the Fuel get it done. A lot of rough and tumble there, but the double pulse bomb from Sparkle was instrumental.
Oh, we got to see that again. It didn't look great, right? He was in that 1v1 against Lip. He's got like 50 HP. He's in, he's out. It didn't look like very decisive. Goes right back in, and both supports in the spawn door. The Ana and the Brig, those are huge kills, especially because Lee Jae-gon had a rally. A massive play there for Sparkle. The huge to get Dallas Fuel the map completion.
They barely got past point A, Matthew. It really looked like they struggled to deal with the mercy boosted Ash play from the Dragons. Fate was also being very annoying, and again the Zenyatta for Izayaki made it hard for Fearless to go as far as he normally did, but here's how those last moments went. Look at how this stick works. Void was still in mech as well. There's a real chance that Pulse Bomb gets eaten if Void doesn't run back into the depths of that spawn, man.
He was so low though. I mean, he was so weak. He was biotic grenaded. He had used his Matrix. There's not much else that Void can do. So Dallas Fuel, they'll play the Zarya. We haven't seen this in a bit from the Dallas Fuel, but they play the Winston with the Zarya. This will be very difficult for Void to stay alive. It is also something that we haven't seen the APAC teams do. The APAC teams really like to play the Diva with the Winston.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen a ton of this sort of combo. You're right. Sparkle finds Fledder initially. The Fuel definitely want to enable Fearless to go a little further than before. And you can see he's playing on the corner. He'll get pocketed by Fielder, and he'll get every friendly bubble that Zarya can provide. Lee Jae-gon goes down. That's a risky mission from Sparkle, but he's picked out the Brigitte.
And the bubble from the Zarya is also great for Fearless. If, let's say, Shanghai wanted to play Lip on the Sombra, and they wanted to... It was kind of what they've been doing a little bit this series, is trying to get the hacks on a Fearless, finish him off, as they know that Fearless is the key for the Dallas Fuel. Having that bubble is massive. He always seems like he has his jump pack available, Fearless. So to be able to have this Zarya bubble, huge. Is Izayaki already with a nano boost.
Two players not known for their Tracer play, both putting on elite performances here. Sparkle and Lip dueling to the death across the map. Sleep Dart from Izayaki doesn't connect, so Doha can get away. It looks like there was no intention of giving Fate the nano until now. No, it's going to be Fledder this time that actually gets it. Fate, maybe because they know he's being targeted, they don't invest too many resources into him. Fearless, however, gets the nano and is put to sleep after Harmon is taken down. So the Dragons deal very well with Dallas trying to start that fight.
And we'll see if the Dallas Fuel can stay alive long enough. Doha just trying to kite this, touch the point a little bit. They know he has EMP. That's why they're trying to get this kill. He was so low. Do you even have a chance to touch? It'll be Sparkle gets on the point. That'll be a Zarya bubble and a big EMP connects with 4.
They Zarya bubble this Sombra just to make sure that there's no chance of interrupting it. Good tech, and that's a lot of respect to someone like Lee Jae-gon or Izayaki who could have interrupted it if they knew it was coming. Fate gets hacked, he's stuck on the ground, that's not good. Hanbin builds a grab off the damage. He just yeets the Graviton at a Diva. This guy's ice cold, and it works. They get rid of Fate, Lee Jae-gon is down. Dallas win a big fight here, and then set themselves up on a trajectory where winning the map here is not out of the question.
It's not. It's going to be very difficult, though. You're going to have a duplicate pulse bomb rally for this next fight. Izayaki, with how fast he's able to build these nano boosts, he'll certainly have one. And all you have is this rally. Your best case scenario for the Dallas Fuel here is to try and get like a hack early on somebody, finish them off, and hope that Shanghai waits.
Fletter's eyeing off the competition. Maybe just trying to keep tracks on whoever wants to duplicate. Izayaki doesn't get away! Sparkle says happy birthday to the ground, but Izayaki was definitely the intended recipient. Message received.
It's huge, because you were at a minute 49 when Shanghai got back. That pulse bomb's going to get things underneath the minute. Lip already had used his pulse bomb, so this also allows you to get the nano boost for Fielder and an EMP. You can nano Fearless here if you want, play up in this blue box area, want to control that.
Doha thinking about just going and doing it. Okay, he's going to try and make this happen, but Fletcher gets a duplicate on the Winston early. Keep an eye on that. Doha doesn't get away. Fate just pushes straight into him. Fearless knows he's just feeding Primal Rage if he sticks around to fight Fletcher, but now it's going to be Fletcher with exactly that ability inside the server room, and there's not much that can be done. Matt, it feels like, the Fuel a little bit impatient starting that fight with the EMP.
I feel like, though, it was a good opportunity, if I'm honest. Like, I think when Fearless gets knocked down, they have an EMP, they know everybody from Shanghai is up there, they have the nano boost, he can go up to that high ground with a Zarya bubble, really start to cause chaos. It's when you lose Doha, right? That's kind of when things really go south, is come back here for the Dallas Fuel, 2 minutes and 30 on the clock. You win this first fight. It's really, you completed the map, so you have so much time and space to work with here. As you get one hold, you draw the clock down, and then towards the end of the map, it's really easy to solve things out.
No. Someone who's very good at that team's the Toronto Defiant. They are very disciplined when it comes to, defending after a good attack. Fearless barely stayed alive, and that's a Primal Rage, that's a Pulse Bomb from Lip, rather, into the back line, it claims too. Sparkle did the same thing and ended up in a Dallas Field map completion. The Dragons are well and truly on that same trajectory here.
Yes, that is up top in the ship, it looks like, where he's able to connect the two players. As Hanbin will die late. Now that's a tough one. This is Shanghai just rolling through the checkpoint B. That's massive for their chances to finish the map. Now they have a good shot. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. A lot of time here towards the end.
Danger Lip! Oh, he tries to extend and get rid of Sparkle as he was back spawn. Mini health packs with Sparkle in the fight.
Lip's been winning those, so I don't blame him for challenging, right? That was something that I think Danny covered on the pre-show, is that how good Lip was in Tracer in the first series, where he gets Sparkle a little bit low, tries to go in for the kill.
It doesn't cost him much. He spawns fairly close, and the card is still moving through the doors anyway. Nano, Fletcher, again, gets it. Okay, so Doha is going to duplicate the Winston. Attempted to sleep there, doesn't work out. So here's a Primal Rage. Fletcher does not use his duplicate, crucially, until now. Looking for Jexa, whip shot, he's backed away. Bonk go to jail. Fletcher now going to be dueling out with Fearless, who gets hit with a biotic grenade, and Hanbin also low. Great connection from Izayaki, but asleep. No Primal Rage now for Fletcher. He'll be out of duplication before he can... Oh, no, he builds it, but then he comes out. Hanbin has a Graviton Surge here. Void is still looking.
I was going to say, he's had this grab for what feels like an eternity, and he's going to drop it right on top of Fate. Just trying to take him out. The bubble comes through. You have a self-destruct to push players back. You get nothing for that grab.
Now the Zarya bubble given over to Fearless here. Hanbin doesn't get anything out of the grab. Clever stuff there from Fate to stay alive. He just throws the dome over and he gets a bunch of healing. Biotic grenade defensively used to keep him up. And Hanbin's running out of juice. I don't think he has any personal bubbles left. This has to be a big play from Sparkle. Fletcher goes down. That's good from Doha. Fate nanoed. No Primal though. And the Dragons have to back away after using a heck of a lot.
Yes, the Dallas Fuel, they get aggressive, and that's a sleep dart on the Doha. The big biotic grenade on Lee Jae-gon and Void is going to force these players back for Shanghai. Minute and 20 on the clock. You'll end up with a rally here in the next fight for the Shanghai Dragons. Pulse Bomb 2. Doha, though, copying this Winston, can just, get a primal fast, buy a ton of time. Maybe you help Hanbin build up towards another grab. The Nano here for Fielder could help Fearless build up towards a Primal Rage too. Although in the last fight, they ended up using the Nano on the Hanbin. Here's going to be the duplicate going on in. A Sleep Dart immediately, but he gets woken up.
Not ideal. Doha is going to have himself a Primal Rage and he uses it instantly. Fate drops there. Sparkle pretty much had all the damage done already, but a Pulse Bomb will secure that kill. And crucially, Fielder gets to hold on to this Nano Boost, which definitely goes to Fearless in the next fight. Dallas have a lot of durability, and their ult cycling is working really efficiently right now.
You don't know. You could also, like I mentioned, they gave it to Hanbin in the fight before. If Hanbin ends up getting a decent amount of charge and they start to push through towards the payload, you could give the Nano over to Hanbin and keep him alive with that, and they do. Yep. They give the Nano Boost to Hanbin.
I mean, nothing Void can do about Hanbin's damage. He can just cut through that mech with a laser. Fate Primal Rage inside the Graviton Surge, so uses it defensively, but Fielder's already gone down, and Fate's actually starting to get value from that Primal outside of the defensive application. Big Pulse Bomb. Dallas are getting absolutely walloped right now. Almost 7 seconds left. The Dragons are close to the end of the map. This one is going to go down to the wire. Here come the reinforcements for the Dallas Fuel. Jexa has to be healed basically inside his own spawn, and here's the Wrecking Ball now from Fearless, or Hanbin rather. Fearless has the Primal Rage, another big Pulse Bomb from Lib. Again and again he provides his key moments now to keep the Dragons ahead in this fight. Hanbin falls to the focusing beam. Flatter really cutting through those bulky tanks, but Doha's going to make another one of himself. Here's the Winston. Primal Rage not out of the question for Doha, and he has it here. Where does he look? Lee J gone. He's going to knock him out of the fight and try and make it harder to use that Inspire healing. Now going to juggle Fate for a time. He's about to come out of Duplicate and needs to be ready to do damage once more as Echo. Good defensive Biotic Grenade. That keeps Fearless topped up. Doha gets Izayaki as he comes out of Duplicate, but Fletter finds the trade kill and Fearless is down. Now Fletter has a Duplicate of his own on the horizon, but will it even be needed? Hanbin staying alive. Here comes Jexa. Big stick. Sparkle gets rid of Fate, but Jagon bonks him and gets rid of him now. Hanbin put to sleep and Jexa trying to stay alive. Not enough Inspire procs to stay into the fight though. Still a Diva on the point. And here's the Doomfist. Doha getting serious now. Void can't do anything. He got desuited. And the Dallas Fuel, are they going to do this? Nano Boost to Doha. All the eggs in this basket right now. And that's the correct choice. The Dallas Fuel come out on top. What a fight to end the map.
And one of the biggest plays during that is, so Fearless comes out of spawn, Primal Rage, breaks on through, able to contest, just to get us into overtime. And then Jexa just plays so perfectly within the spawn door as the Brigitte. He knows exactly where he needs to be to keep in just line of sight to get those armor packs onto Fearless, and he builds up a rally, comes out. That allows them to stabilize a little bit. Then Doha comes out, copies over to Fate to get a Primal Rage of his own. Fearless coming out of his Primal solo goes back to spawn, switches to Rhine, and comes out. You just cycle these tanks, and eventually it's just too much for Shanghai to deal with.
The Shanghai Dragons have entered the danger zone. The Dallas Fuel stand on the precipice of winning the first major title for this franchise in their history to take away the May Melee. There's still plenty more action though, and a chance for the Dragons to kick back into high gear, so do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
All right, Zoe, get ready for the Pringles Live segment in 3, 2, 1, go Zoe.
Welcome back, everyone. It is now time for our Pringles Bold Predictions. Danny, what you got for us?
Scorching chili and lime.
Danny?
Ooh, pizza?
Danny?
Danny?
Ooh, on ranch.
Danny?
Barbecue on jalapeno on honey mustard.
Danny?
All the Pringles
Stacked on top of all the Pringles. Stacked on top of all the Pringles. Stacked on top of.
Perfect. Great job, everyone.
Pringles, stay in the game.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
In these moments, there is nothing better than knowing that your destiny is in your hands. And for the Dallas Fuel, they stand on the very edge here of taking away the May Melee. The first time a May Melee has been international. And for Fearless, Matt, I mean, history repeats itself in many, many ways. He won the May Melee with the Shanghai Dragons last year. But now, on a new roster, a different roster at the very least, he's set to do it again, against them.
Yeah, he obviously was a huge player for the Shanghai Dragons last year. And when this Dallas Fuel roster starts to get formed, he kind of let it be known that this is the team that he wants to come into this year playing. I'm sure the Shanghai Dragons would have loved to have him on the roster and not have to go against him here, as he has been, for me, he's been like the player of the entire May Melee across both regions. I feel like he's just been so impactful for the Dallas Fuel and really puts themselves in this position where, you know, they're one map away from being champions, which is something that, you know, when we started the Overwatch League, sort of a lot of people thought like could happen even in Season 1, right? A lot of people talking about, you know, the Dallas Fuel and coming in, they had this great history, and the team that like kind of we were promised and everything that went along with it is not what we got. They were really a little bit of a mess. And they finally hit the reset button. I know a lot of the fans wanted it. They were asking for a while, hey, like, you know, hit the reset button. Let's get a new team in here. Let's start really kind of turning over the roster. They do it in a huge way this offseason. You can already see it pay off. One map away from winning the May Melee.
And this team, of course, is no stranger, or many of these players are no strangers to glory and success as mostly a unit. But doing it in the Overwatch League just has a different kind of sweetness to it, Matthew. It's 3-1. The Fuel, it's match point for them.
Yeah, so something interesting, I was like taking a look back at the previous series. So Gibraltar was Shanghai Dragons' pick in this series. Dallas won it in the first series and now won it in the second series. And then Shanghai Dragons now pick Ilios, which was the first map in the previous series, with the Dallas Fuel ended up winning. So maybe what Shanghai wants to do here is kind of keep the map somewhat similar to the first go-around. We already saw Anubis, which was a Shanghai Dragons pick, which we saw in the first series. Maybe they saw all of these compositions and make the necessary adjustments in the day or two since then to feel like you can win. It is kind of rare, though, to see a team pick two maps that they had just lost to the team like a day or two ago. Typically, you would see a team kind of go somewhere completely different, but Shanghai taking an approach where they probably drew up some new strategies and came in here today.
They have tape on the Fuel on these maps. Instead of having to deal with anything potentially unexpected, they can walk into this maybe knowing what's going to come.
And they know Dallas isn't really going to change up that many comps because they can't, right? They play a select few things, although some big switches at certain times. Is Fate now on the Wrecking Ball, goes in deep. Is this going to be a lot of disruption, right? The Wrecking Ball, the Zenyatta, the Tracer in the midst, just a lot of damage coming from all directions. So this will be Shanghai able to get the point first.
Look how busy Fate keeps everybody, especially Fielder there. Fielder uncharacteristically misses a fairly close-range sleep dart, but you know, while he's trying to deal with the ball, he turns around and all of a sudden, Jexa and Fearless and Harbin are all in critical health, and he can't keep them healed up quickly enough. He can't get them there. And then they lose the fight as a result of that.
And this is probably, if you're the Dallas Fuel, as Izzyaki picks up a kill here, this is probably the worst point you could have drawn off the start, right? At this point, Ruins really fits everything that Shanghai Dragons could play or wanted to play. You could play the Widowmaker here, fantastic sightlines where you know there's going to be no counter to it. And obviously the Echo, Wrecking Ball good on this map where it doesn't excel on some of the other points. So really, really good draw here for the first point on Ilios.
Duplicate on the Winston. That's Fletter there, but he may not be needed, or at least the Primal Rage may not be necessary, because Lip finds 2 and a Pulse Bomb cleans up Jexa. And the Dragons stay well ahead. A very interesting Brigida matchup here between Jagon and Jexa. Jexa, in the main melee, leads in terms of healing and defensive assists. Jagon leads in terms of hero damage done and Inspire uptime, which is a result of how much you're hitting someone. Different style. Jagon very much more aggressive, and Jexa going to switch down to Lucio.
I was going to say, they're going to change things up. A different style of play here from the Dallas Fuel. With the Moira and the Lucio close together, get a hack. This time, though, a big EMP probably, and activate on that. It's going to be the EMP, and Izzyaki gets blown up there.
The Dallas Fuel can't be relying on an EMP for every fight, though. They've already conceded 80% capture progress to the Dragons. And they've lost Jexa in this fight. Fate's going to be annoying. Very hard to get rid of. He's 1 HP. The minefield is out. Sparkle was trying to navigate his way through. Harder than finding El Dorado, I suspect. And Lip knows that he can dance around that minefield and stay relatively safe from close quarters. He's still alive. And it's 94% on the ticker for the Dragons. Fate switching to the Winston.
You can keep fighting this, though, as it's going to be the copy from Fleta getting a Tracer. It'll be a Coalescence that comes out. They need to keep everybody alive.
Pulse. Good patience from Fleta, but he still doesn't connect. He's forced out of the duplication by the Coalescence from Fielder, and that was when Fielder was at his most vulnerable. He cannot fade away during Coalescence, so that Pulse Bomb, if it had stuck, it would have been game over. Hanbin gets away, self-destruct over the top there. Bit of a cheeky fade away, and that Transcendence wouldn't have saved anyone from the self-destruct if it had hit, but it didn't. And Jagon now has a rally to follow this up. The Dragons have a lot of durability here, and they're ready to fight to end the round.
It's difficult for the Dallas Fuel to step back onto the point because they know the rally, the Transcendence comes in, so everybody on the Shanghai Dragons topped up. They can't stand here and fight. You know, with that rally armor, you have the Echo in the sky, the Tracer, you just can't match it if you're the Dallas Fuel.
Fearless is hit with a Discord Orb and a Focusing Beam, so he just evaporates in an instant. The Pulse Bomb, well, easy come, easy go for Lip. He didn't even need to connect that one. Most of the hard work had already been done. The Dragons now are back in control of the point, and it's really just a matter of clearing things out. Sparkle goes down. Here's an EMP coming fairly late. It connects on towards 4 people. There might be a comeback here. Doha gets rid of Lip. Fearless is going to roll onto the point and buy a little bit more time. This is not his normal pick. The Wrecking Ball is reserved for special occasions like Desperation.
So maybe, you know, if Jexa stays alive a second longer, you have a sound barrier, but really strong performance here from the Shanghai Dragons to kick things off on Ilios. But like I mentioned, Ruins, you know, a point where you can play a lot of the Wrecking Ball, a lot of compositions that Shanghai Dragons want to play. It's not as easy on some of these other points. So Dallas Fuel thus far looks like they're going to be playing probably, you know, the Winston base comp with a Tracer and the Echo. As we take a look from Lip's POV, his Tracer's definitely impressed a lot of people.
Credit to Jexa because his Shield Bash prevents Fielder from dying to the Pulse Bomb. Unfortunately, Lip was still there to have his dinner anyway. On the Lighthouse now. And again, you mentioned that Ruins was a pretty bad map for the Fuel to draw. Now the Echo for Doha will have a bit more protection as there's some of these protrusive buildings and roofs he can hide behind if he needs to.
I feel like this should play out better for the Dallas Fuel. You can jump up here on the high ground as Yaki gets really low, but the peel back is so good from the rest of the Shanghai Dragons. They keep Izzyaki alive, and just all the damage from Fleta and Co. just destroys Dallas. They jump right into it. Izzyaki lives, everybody else puts down the damage. The Discord Orb in there pays off big. Just kind of sitting on top of the Zen. The Zen is the dive target, but it's also, you know, with the Brig and then the Echo damage, it's going to be a difficult one to take out.
It's a problem for the Fuel, who play so heavily around Fearless and actually devote so many resources to their main tank. The Discord Orb is his natural enemy, and he's no longer an Apex Predator when that is afoot. Sparkle has to get away from the point there. Just takes a little bit too much damage, goes back for the Mega. Void detention is now elsewhere, so Sparkle returns to the point. Gonna try and draw some attention, and he has caught Lip. Hook, line, or sinker. Lip takes damage from the middle of the point here, so this gives Dallas a little bit of room, but Fearless going down there. I think the Dragons have stepped it up a notch.
Well, watching from the top mini-map, when Fearless goes up to the high ground to try and go after Izayaki, you have Liche gone there, you have Void coming back to help in Fleta. Just so much help for Izayaki, because they know if they keep him alive with the Discord Orb and to pick off on the Jexay, so that's going to make you wait even longer here if you're the Dallas Fuel. They're just trying to make anything happen. It's Fearless actually on the point with a Primal Rage, and they're going to flip the point.
That is, the timing is brilliant there. Fearless gets a swipe of the fists, and there's no rocket boosters available for Void, so it's a gigantic value kill there as he's knocked over the edge.
And Shanghai does not expect that to play out like that. They get that first pick off, you get the Brig, you expect them to kind of go back, reset. Sparkle on the point, and then Fearless comes in with a Primal Rage, and you just keep the fight alive. The Nano Boost there as well. So now with control of the point, let's see how the Dallas Fuel can make this composition work. They can play a little bit more aggressive, play up on that high ground, and control it right away.
Duplicate. Diva is the target for Doha. Looking to get into the back line here, but Sparkle's already gone down. Discorded, stunned, whip shot, all the works gets leverage.
Point flips.
At the Tracer. And that's bad for the Fuel. That is doubly bad. Losing the point midway through the fight. Can they recover? Hardman gets rid of Lip, but the damage was already done as he claimed Fielder. So only Jex are really here for the heals. Fleta won't get a Primal Rage here. Dallas still need point control. They're committing, Matt. They're going with the rally now. They might be short-handed, but they know they need to take this back post-haste.
Yeah, they're going to have the Primal Rage here from Fearless again, and he's going to go up to the high ground, gets discorded, but it was a minefield that helped Shanghai take the point back as the Fate's still rolling around. He goes right through Jexay. Just look at all of the spots that the damage is coming from here on the Fearless. He has no idea where to target.
But they got Izayaki. Hanbin now could just run wild on the backline. No healers are available here for the Dragons. And remember, when Izayaki's off the map, they really don't have enough healing to work with, especially with Jagon being knocked out of Inspire proc range. 98% place 42. Dallas have been behind the whole time here on Ilios. They have a chance to get back in the lead, but they're really going to have to hold out for quite a while.
It's possible, though. Above 50%, no ultimates here available for the Shanghai Dragons. You win this fight rather quickly. You kind of get it up to 70-80. You're in a spot to win.
Why not? Why a quick fight? A long fight was also probably fine here for the Fuel. They're in control. Sparkle knows he can't go too far. He's been kept in place by Lip right now because they can't risk losing the point prematurely again. Void wasn't desuited. Harbin almost gets desuited himself, pushing quite far. Fearless has got to commit. Yeah, Primal Rage straight over the top. That's brilliant. Izayaki gets that one dropped on him. They say it's good luck when a bird poops on your head. I don't think Izayaki feels like that about what Harbin just did to him.
Yeah, it's a nano boost from Fielder onto Fearless right away, and they kick the fight off with Fearless, Hanbin, and Doha just putting damage down onto the supports and some of the other players for the Shanghai Dragons. And it's really Sparkle and Jexay who are able to keep the point in the Dallas Fuel's favor. And like I mentioned, you get it above like 80%, you're in a one-fight territory now.
Fake takes a bunch of damage. All the Fuel make a beeline for him and they get rid of him. The target focus is brilliant. Fate still able to claim Sparkle with a minefield, but Doha gets the duplicate on the Diva. Here's trouble for the Dragons now. Doha's looking for the backline. He finds Izayaki, and look at the matchup. Combining nicely with Fearless, it's going to force out the Transcendence. Yeah, the Fuel have to get back to the point now. They need to win the fight. They aren't touching right now. And there we go. It's going to be Hanbin that keeps it going. Fearless got a biting grenade. Nano boost as well. Jex is in trouble, though. He's going to get absolutely crowded on. There's no healers on the point for the Fuel. All their supports are being isolated, but Fate doesn't have the backup to get rid of them. They can return, but will it be quick enough? Fearless is doing a good job staying alive for now, but Jex comes in. It's too late, though. Fearless already gets hit with a biotic grenade. He can't be healed, even though the cavalry's arrived. There's nothing they can do. Dead to rights he was, but Doha finds a quick double. Void goes for the self-destruct here. Crucial timing, and he's going to get two. That's what the Dragons needed. That's what's going to keep them in the series.
Oh, and it was the Wrecking Ball play there at the end from Fate. Just occupying both supports for so long, like you mentioned. The Dallas Fuel try and juggle it on the point. They went in deep, trying to get the Transcendence out of Izayaki, and they gave up the point for it. And then they try and work their way back, but just Fate just locking these supports so far away, they weren't able to get any healing, and Shanghai wins in the end. The Shanghai Dragons find the Wrecking Ball compositions to work here on Ilios.
Matt, we wouldn't have had it any other way. This is a first to four series for a reason. We want to make sure that our Mayhem LA champion absolutely deserves the title. The Dragons, no stranger to long series. This one's going to be no different. Let's see who can outlast after the break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League. The MVP himself, it's Fledder.
Fledder now taking the clutch into his own hands. The minerals of the man. Taking the clutch into his own hands.
Someone stop this man!
Taking the clutch into his own hands.
Oh no, don't do it to the man!
Taking the clutch into his own hands.
That's clutch with consistency. That's bonkers.
The headshot after headshot after headshot.
That's bonkers.
Taking the clutch into his own hands.
And you've got to be kidding me, man!
Taking the clutch into his own hands. You absolute madman!
That's bonkers.
The headshot after headshot after headshot after headshot after headshot after headshot.
That's bonkers.
I do not believe what we have just witnessed.
Yeah, that's Mr. MVP to you, and ironically, a man who really keeps a stoic and stony face as he plays. Emotion doesn't always show on his face, but he wears many faces in the server as an Echo aficionado. There's even a skin based off of him. Matt Fledder has been ridiculous over the course of this series, and it's been Doha who's you struggle to sort of keep up. The Echo play's been top tier today.
I mean, it's tough for anybody to keep up with Glenn. I mean, with how good he is on so many different heroes. It's Shanghai just getting ready here for, whether Dallas Fuel's still on game point. Shanghai trying to get to our game 7. You see the prize breakdown. The lead points are massive. Like we talked about for the Dallas Fuel, I know they come in 2-2 and our 6th seed. I think I saw somebody say that like they basically qualified with by like 0.34 meters of payload progress. Like that was the difference. And to see that kind of turn into 100K and then 3 league points would be quite nice for the Dallas Fuel. Shanghai, you've had a very good start to your season in terms of like records. So the league points are just
they were 4th in the East.
But still, I mean, some of the teams in the East are just pretty bad. They're gonna beat up on some of these teams all year long. Where I feel like the Dallas Fuel still have a lot of teams to contest with. Where I think Shanghai, you're going to be pretty good against a few of those teams all year long, right? So I feel like the league points would be just like a nice to have for the Shanghai Dragons. Where for the Dallas Fuel, they're not like you don't want to say necessary, but they're massive. They're just about necessary.
It erases an incredibly rocky start to this season, man. I think there's no other way of putting it, right? You're in a position where you have to deal with the retirement of your, one of your main DPS players. You need to turn around in a couple of days and be ready to play. Yeah, you go 2-2, right? You have some really tough matches in your first week. This essentially erases that. All those woes that they suffered earlier on the season, a win here and those 3 league points essentially puts them clear of all of that sort of miasma of, frantically trying to cobble together something. And, outside of that, what Dallas have come up with has really been quite revolutionary for this team, and I know other teams are watching. We know the Dragons love a map 6, man, but it's going to have to be a map 7 if they want to take this series. Right now, after Dallas winning back-to-back maps in this series, Shanghai have to repeat that same feat, and it's going to be Blizzard World for the Fuel's pick.
Yeah, which is, this is going to be a pretty good Wrecking Ball map on defense, which is what we've seen teams in NA and APAC both do. The Dallas Fuel, though, against the Houston Outlaws came out, and as you see here on the map leaderboard presented by Xfinity, they almost took the best time ever on the map. And this is when they ended up playing the May the Sim, and they did a TP straight to the point, avoided everything. Shanghai has obviously seen that. They've also played this map against each other the other day in the series. And that is one where the Shanghai Dragons came out on top. Can they repeat that performance again, though? The Dallas Fuel may have something different here that they want to play.
I think one of the most interesting parts about the way that map played out is that the Fuel, it wasn't just the Symmetra just to get them onto point A. They stayed on the Symmetra as they pushed the card. So it's really uncommon to see that pick because theoretically, given Symmetra's range limitations, you swap off her after the first point. But constantly, the Fuel were using the teleporter just to outposition the Outlaws every time they tried to stand up and sort of fight them. So yeah, you're playing on the card, you just throw a TP on the card, and then all of a sudden, all your team is on the high ground on point B. Made it really, really hard for the Outlaws to sort of predict or get an understanding of sort of how the Fuel would flow. Now, I'm not saying that would necessarily work against a team like the Dragons, especially one that would probably play pretty separately, right? You probably have Ashe, Mercy, your Zen in there, your Wrecking Ball play. It's going to be a little bit hard to pin down the Dragons as they defend.
Yeah, it's Shanghai taking a little bit here for this game. Try and get all in sync with each other as the Dallas Fuel. No substitutions here. No substitutions for Shanghai either. So we're just waiting for Shanghai to get ready to go into game.
Iziaki's going to be fixing his monitor, and while he does that, we're going to bless ourselves with some sights and sounds of the last few weeks of play.
There we go. Ready, man?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
No! When we start?
Just cover.
Let's go.
Pelican. What?
You're playing Brig. Shut up.
What? You baby?
Your haircut. Stat. I don't care my hair. Because you're always handsome, that's why. Yeah. Got DNA difference. DNA difference? Okay. I'm not kidding. I'm serious by lapping.
No, I know.
They play both zero TP. No TP, just walk. Walk. Use your TP.
Pelican.
Oak. Ghetto.
We have a zoo. Pelican, gator, and hawk.
Monkey.
Six. Ash.
Let's go!
Never eat apple before sleep. Why? Only? I don't know.
And here we are at a very critical juncture in this, the final match of the May Melee. It's all up for grabs here. 100k for the winner, 3 league points, and a map lead of 1 to the Dallas Fuel. They have selected Blizzard World, and Matthew, they're looking to end the series here. No map 7 shenanigans.
Yeah, they are, but with how all these games have gone, it just feels like we're going to get another map. It just, Shanghai having these, like, 6-map, first to 3s, it just makes too much sense for us to see a Game 7 here, potentially. It'll be the Dallas Fuel on defense. Kick things off. Interesting. So they're going to come out with a Soldier 76. So the Soldier worked out for them on King's Row. It helps kind of up the pace. Like Johnny mentioned, they'll have the Lucio with the Batiste in the mix. Then you have the Sigma here, where they didn't run the Sigma, if I remember correctly, on King's Row. I believe they ran the Diva. But the Sigma allows them to put the shield by the 76, give him even more room to operate. So Shanghai is probably going to want to play the Wrecking Ball. I wonder if they see this, if they make some type of adjustment, if they want to continue to play the ball into it.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
It'll be the Dragons to start on the attacking side, and Doha greets them as they come out of spawn.
They're going to see 76 and be like, what?
Ooh, okay.
Whatever
it is, it's prompted fate to... Maybe the Winston?
Everybody back. Yep, we're seeing a change. Everybody back.
Right, okay. So the Dragon's going to play more traditional rush here. Here they go.
This is going to be so much of what this map is like, potentially. If these teams just want to kind of play this game where they try and counter-comp each other constantly, like Dallas could come out and play the Symmetra next, right? But then we see the Echo switch and whatnot come in for Shanghai, as Shanghai trying to get a player walled off.
Yeah, they got Fearless, but Fearless in a position to pretty easily deploy the Immortality Field if needed. Oh, it comes too late. Somehow, it looks like they thought Fearless would be okay, but he got burst down in a pinch. And the Dragons just saunter up to the point nonchalantly.
So let's see now if the Dallas Fuel decide to make some changes. You still have Jexay and Fielder here. Jexay will try and run away.
Okay.
Looks like no changes thus far. No, okay, so Sparkle over to the May. Do you see the... So you're not going to see the Sip, because Sparkle is usually the one who plays the Symmetra. So they'll have the May with the Sombra here. You possibly stay on the Sombra because you don't want to give up the ult charge. You want to get an EMP, so fight winning, that you don't want to give up. Basically a free EMP here.
So your main damage is Fearless and Fielder, I guess, with this setup. And Matrix Wall preventing escape for some. Still, the Dragons are unperturbed by that. They step to the left. And they'll shuffle over to the right in just a moment here after they are sure that that has expired. Shanghai look much better here so far. Let's see what this Sparkle Doha duo can concoct. EMP, Doha maybe thought about it, but knows he might have been blown up there. Immortality Field deployed to the right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken. Hanmi got pressured. Lip goes down here, so the Fuel respond by grouping up. Doha's trying to help over the top, dealing with Void, I think. Manual hack on Fleta.
Yeah, so they're trying to chase Fleta down as they'll finally get him. That'll be a shatter from Fearless, doesn't get anybody. Shanghai wants to regroup. They're going to have a ton of ults coming into this next fight.
Fate, he's in trouble, Matt. Immortality Field down, he's frozen stiff. Hanbin wants more, he's hungry.
What an interesting composition here for the Dallas Fuel yet again. In the previous fight to kick things off, when they get Lip at the start, he actually comes through the side room by the Mega Health Pack. He lands a flashbang that connects onto 3 players, wasn't able to finish any of them. They all turned and dealt with him rather quickly. So Lijigon can't use his sound barrier until they know the Doha EMP is out. And look at this, the position of Dallas Fuel taking up on the high ground. So Void sees where Doha was. Doha gonna drop down. He's still trying to set up an EMP.
Oh, they got Fate. He's in trouble. That shield gets busted, frozen. As the EMP, 6 players hit with that one, and it's got to be a Fuel win. You're thinking you're crazy if you can't win the fight here. Jagon knew he had to wait a little bit for the sound barrier, and he gets it off, but without Lip and Fate around to benefit from it, was that the correct call?
Oh, I mean, that's they thought maybe they could kind of extend it a little bit and get some of these kills onto Dallas towards the end because you have the respawn advantage. They don't get anything. You do have a Blizzard here though, but Jexay can just kind of sit on the high ground. Jexay actually above where Fearless is currently, just wall riding. He's going to be able to just drop down in sound barrier if needed.
This could be dangerous. Doha is halfway to another EMP, and Harbin has Gravitic Flux. You saw him barking orders there on the player cam. Probably trying to get everyone in position for that. Jackson goes down, though. Lips caught in the Flux. Blizzard there to meet them. Void desuited, and Fleta might not be able to get away. He's frozen on the high ground. Looking more like a sculpture right now, but no one's there to follow up. He managed to get to safety, and he was healed constantly by his backline, but Fearless has another Earth Shatter. He's trying to tempt fate. Literally. Will he drop his shield for me? Not quite. Faith been pretty. Can he? But you can't stop Fearless. He won't be denied. Shatter for 2. Izayaki down after the amplification matrix got deployed. That Batista goes to waste, and Izayaki gets dump trucked.
And you can keep cycling these ultimates if you're the Dallas Fuel, as Fearless will get taken out here towards the end. They do have an EMP for this next fight coming up. They buy themselves a ton of time there. So EMP for Doha, and you're going to have Lijigon with the sound barrier yet again. So we'll see how he plays around this. Can't get hit with that EMP. Also can't pop the sound barrier before the EMP comes out, as Shanghai wisely takes the high ground.
A frustrating conundrum for Lee Jae-gon to be in. He wants to be aggressive.
He's playing
no matter what hero he's on.
He's playing
he
so
wants
far
to be
away
in the
from
fight
team,
though,
yeah.
Matt. This has got to be causing him such anguish. Look at him. He's not in his front line at all. He can't be. And as a result, look at Void. He gets desuited. Incredible pressure to the back line, and the Dragons lose one of their key pieces.
I mean, this is kind of the game with Sombra really from the start, right? It's a dance where Lee Jae-gon has to either play from a distance, where, like you mentioned, so aggressive doesn't want to play from that distance, or play within the range of the EMP and risk having your shields taken away from the sound barrier. So it'll be Lip here with a Deadeye.
Oh no!
That'll be the EMP. This is going to be the sound barrier, though. It's good.
Nicely done, and that's the Dragons weathering the storm. Doha gets away with the translocator. Void gets desuited here. He had self-destruct, but he was manually hacked.
It was a Blizzard from Sparkle on the high ground. So they end up using the Blizzard as soon as they go in. It'll be Izayaki getting a kill on a Doha as an exit. But how do you go about trying to get the high ground here? You're going to have a Gravitic Flux and a Shatter available here for the Dallas Fuel.
10 seconds left. The Dragons, May melee, hopes right on this next fight. Air Matrix to start, but it's going to be a May wall immediately. The Gravitic Flux, it's huge! Immortality Field has to be used so early in the fight. The Dragons have to recover. Void goes to the card here. Big Shatter. Fate comes alive on this Reinhardt, and Jex is a little bit too late on the sound barrier. Hanbin falls, but Izuyaki's down. Where's the healing gonna be now? Shatter! It's gigantic! Fearless takes fate to his own hands. He eventually falls to the self-destruct, but the damage is done. The Dragons are limping forward. Fate is so low, his shield's about to crack, and so is the resolve of Shanghai. They are kicked off the cart, and that's a win condition set up now for the Fuel.
Oh, Fearless with the shatter from the top ropes. Oh, what
It turns out, Matt, this is actually Sparta. This is Sparta.
What creativity, though, from the Dallas Fuel. May Sombra with the Ryan and the Sigma. We have not seen that from them. Really, we haven't seen that from anybody at all. As after they try the Soldier 76 at the start, doesn't work out. They go over to that composition. They're able to really be strong on defense, deny Shanghai a lot of the high ground. They played really brawly up near the choke, and the EMP is just such a devastating ultimate that they're able to take advantage of it. There'll be offense for the Dallas Fuel. They know where the golden box of victory is to win the melee.
Here's how
What do they decide to play? Yeah, let's see this. He has the sound barrier he gets from Jexay coming up, and
Godly!
So good.
And that's it. And that is that is making a play to secure the round for your team. Save that kind of magic for moments like that, and you guarantee yourself a legacy.
So ball composition here for the Shanghai Dragons. This is not surprising. When the Dallas Fuel pick this map, they know Shanghai is pretty much going to play this on defense. So you think whatever Dallas has cooked up is for this composition. As okay, for a second there, I thought it was the Bastion, but nope, we're going to see the Soldier 76 again.
Not out of the woods yet are the Dallas Fuel. Discord Orb will be a factor, so Fearless will need to keep his wits about him. And look at this. The Fuel scurry up to the high ground now. Fearless has to charge. Okay, Fletty gets tickled by Sparkle. And now he knows that, yes, the legs have been locked. Soldier 76 to win the main melee. That's astounding.
They're trying to figure out how to kind of play this. They rotate
Shanghai did
around
this
towards
as well.
the backside. Yeah, they're trying to just find somebody.
Face hack.
They get a hack on a Fate. Yeah.
He's trying to walk away, trundling off the point. The Fuel, discipline. They don't chase, they don't overcommit to try and get rid of him, but Sparkle's taking fire from multiple angles. Throws himself into the makeshift bunker here. Fletter is struggling. Very low, will need to break line of sight for the time being. Good immortality field from Fielder. What a lifesaver this man is. That's eventually gone down, but it buys him enough time to keep Fearless alive. Fate could be in trouble, but this could be falling apart, and it is. Izuyaki's down, and the Dallas Fuel surge forward. They see the glimmer of light. They see the box of victory ain't far away, and they'll have themselves point A and the payload to boot.
And they should be able to keep the payload moving. Like where the Shanghai Dragons got caught here, there's no like May on the other side. They're still playing these Wrecking Ball compositions. You're going to have an EMP tac visor here for this next fight. So you should be able to keep the cart moving here if you're the Dallas Fuel. And if you can get this Soldier 76 up on the high ground, it's going to be devastating for Shanghai coming out of spawn.
EMP tactical visor. What a way to set yourself towards that box of victory. Oh, Fletter's hacked!
Fletter.
He swings it clipped, he's taken down. Big pick off for the Dallas Fuel. They're using a mortality field to make sure there'll be no retribution as a result of that. And now Void could be in trouble. Used a lot of his defense matrix, and Lip gets caught, gets too close to Sparkle, and the Soldier 76 is getting it done. Sparkle's gonna head to the high ground now. Big EMP late from Doha, and this means it's a staggered, extended fight where the Dragons get very little, Matt. They're falling apart.
And Fate trying to play off these health packs, but Doha controls them because of the Sombra, so he's not able to get it. You're going to lose Fate late. You look over at Shanghai, and what do they have here? Fleta goes in the sky to try and get a duplicate. They're just going to hack him as Fearless potentially has a shatter here to win the melee.
A hero moment is on the cards. Can Fearless do it again to end it all here in the melee? Immortality field for Fielder's down. It's a duplicated Diva. That's not an extra shield. Fearless can work with this now. Shatter's easy to hit with no Reinhardt or Sigma in the mix, and he's looking for it. Oh, he's looking. Backs up though. Discipline gives way, as so does his shield. And the rest of the Fuel try and get out here. They're forcing ultimates from Shanghai.
Yeah, there was no chance they were going to win that. When Fearless has the shield up, you have a Diva behind him, players in front of him. No opportunity to win that fight. Wisely holds on to the ultimates. It's an eternity of time here for the Dallas Fuel. You see where the golden box victory is to get the cart over the line. You have a self-destruct plus a visor here, like kind of an unorthodox combo, but could force players into the line of sight of it. So we'll see how they want to play around this.
Lifted in this fight already. Big stick! Okay, Hanbin the only one to take damage from that, and he'll be healed up. That's ult percentage for Fielder, in fact. From the low ground come the Fuel. Sparkle's got to be looking for a flanking position. He'll start tickling the card. This is going to force Fate to drop down eventually. Or somebody. Surely. And here's the contest. It was Void. The Dragons don't want to give up their perch, but everyone's got to come down from the ivory tower eventually. Self-destruct is there. Fleta trades for Doha, and Sparkle has the tactical visor. There's still Diva at large, but Fate goes down, and the main tank is missing for the Dragons. Here's the Transcendence from Izayaki to keep the Dragons in the fight, but the Fuel won't be denied. Here they come, and Fearless has the Shatter primed. Fleta comes here on the Widowmaker and picks Fielder off. This is looking dangerous. Nothing hit by the Shatter. And now the Dragons have the numbers to push back in. Fleta's being harassed in the backline by Doha, who's built another EMP. Surely he holds this. Surely.
And they looked like they could have pulled it out there. I mean, they get the advantage early. It was the Ant Matrix plus the Tac Visor. So, you know, like I mentioned, it was 3 minutes on the clock. We're now down to 1:55 as Sparkle on the Tracer. This will probably have Fleta go back to the Echo. There's that switch, and then, oh, you're going to play the Winston here, so they want to go with this Winston, the Moira rush. So they're going to have the Moira in play with the Lucio. You'll have Sound Barrier plus the EMP. You can force the fight on the cart. That should be enough.
Everything rests on Doha right here. He needs a gigantic EMP. And the Dragons have a composition that splits up so much, but all he needs is some backline action here. Connect maybe with the Zenyatta, get Izayaki out of the picture early. He's got to go sooner. He's waiting. What is he waiting for? Lip goes down. That's a huge pick. No more Tracer, pressure in the backline, and now the Fuel go. There's the EMP, Fate is down. Doha really punishes him there. Transcendence comes in for Izayaki, so the Dragons have a window to stay in the fight, but they have to use the rally as well. They've got to use everything left. Self-destruct, buys a bit of space. No kills though. Void still able to get back in the mech and keep fighting. Hanbin though is very, very low. Pulse Bomb dropped in the backline and no one connected with. Izayaki sees Doha in the distance but gives him the respect. And the Dallas Fuel, they've lost Fearless Field to Hanbin, all falling, and they're running out of time, Matt.
They're not finding the kills after this. It's just tremendous defense here from the Shanghai Dragons. The EMP is good, but Lijigan uses the rally as soon as the EMP comes out. The Transcendence there after from Izayaki. One last attack here for the Dallas Fuel. So close to winning the melee.
It's all on the line here. Keeping Doha healthy is definitely going to be a top priority. He can build another EMP in this fight, and he can shut down the Dragons in doing so, but Fleta is there with a duplicator, and he'd love to do that to Fearless. He's hacked again! Coalescence, pressuring him out. Can he get away? Yes, he's able to duplicate now if he chooses, and he's got to copy the Winston. Here's the EMP though. Fleta can't jump. He's stuck on the card right now. Self-destruct claims Fate. That is a big one. 6v5 and another Transcendence has to be used, but it might not be enough here. Lip's going to go down. 6 versus 4. Pulse Bomb available for Sparkle now. Is this the moment for him to use it? He gets the stick. Izayaki is down, and the cycle of misery is finally broken. Today, those that burn blue burn brightest.
The Dallas Fuel get it done. It was down to the wire. Shanghai with a tremendous defense. They were it looked like they were going to pull it out, but Doha gets that EMP at the end. Fearless with the Primal Rage. And, you know, at the beginning of the melee, really throughout, we talked about all of the things that the Dallas Fuel can't do with this roster, but really it's a lot of the stuff that they could do at the end that nobody else could replicate that ended up winning the melee for them. The ability to play so many just kind of off compositions that other teams cannot prepare for. Dallas gets it over the line at the end, and you see Shanghai just have to be crushed. You know, Shanghai, they've had so many games go down to the wires, you know, map 6s with draws. This one almost goes 7. They just fall a little bit short.
And everyone had their opinions about what this Fuel roster was going to be capable of lacking Xe. They tried to put them into a box, and so the Fuel just broke out of that and broke out of those expectations. They played everything. The most bizarre compositions you could imagine. But they're in the right hands with so many of these picks. Even the Soldier 76 for Sparkle at times, he made it look like the only logical answer, even when realistically, it was just a meme pick.
And you know, Coach Rush did an interview before the season even kicked off, and a lot of the discussion was about, you know, how does this team get by without a Tracer player? How do they get by without Xe? And a lot of his answers were like, we feel like we have the players that are good enough to set the meta, to play our own game and take control of the league. And, you know, a lot of people, when I heard that, I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to go bad. So that looks like a John Spector there. And it didn't. You know, he picked the players in the offseason, knew exactly what this team was capable of. And when a lot of people wrote them off after, you know, losing Xe and not having no Tracer and a hit scan player, which is so important in the meta, they felt confident that this team was creative enough and so good on these roles that they would be able to win in the end. They 100% proved it today.
It's crazy how much we as pundits and onlookers had to sort of be educated of that fact. We just thought there was no chance you could really make this happen without the Kree or without the Ashe. You know, these staple picks for so many other teams. The balance of the game right now lends itself to teams being able to play outside of our expectations and to try some of these picks that we never thought would have worked. And by God, Matt,
he was the number 2 picked hero from the DPS role in the Melee. And they play, and Dallas Fuel selected him 0% of the time. I mean, that's just unreal. The fact that they end up kind of winning this series by playing Sparkle on the Soldier 76 in huge moments and actually kind of like making it work. And when Soldier 76, you know, lock the legs, it's kind of a meme. They make it work. And I think this is scary, though, for other teams in the league, right? Even looking at the future. Because as we go into the June Joust and hero pools come through, you know, a lot of like the main damage picks weren't really played by the Dallas Fuel. You know, some of the stuff that they play, they can continue to play as it was not popular. Which,
I mean, look, if you don't have a hit scan play, just let him use aimbot. You know, let the game aim for him.
And even then, I think they've shown with this roster being able to pick up new things and just adapt on the fly. That is so impressive. And I think just, you know, even outside of this team, just the Dallas Fuel organization, right? It's been a rough 4 years for Stro and Tasso, and I'm sure, you know, a huge sigh of relief here, you know, getting this win and just finally having the Dallas Fuel where they wanted them to be. You know, this is an organization that always wanted to win. They always wanted to be on top. Tried with multiple rosters, you know, different coaches, were not able to get it done. Complete reset in the offseason. They kind of handed the keys to Rush, and he delivered them a championship early.
And of course, it's time now, as we always do, to declare our player of the match presented by Xfinity, and it's only fitting that it goes to the true protagonist of the Overwatch League. It is an anime, and this man is the star. Fearless. I mean, we even got a Wrecking Ball cameo from him at some point, but some of these shadows were unbelievable. That Blizzard world from the top, that's where he really sets up this team to win. It is incredible to see a main tank take over the game like this and to be so heavily invested in by his team. Not to mention one that was involved in such a rough Season 1 of the Overwatch League. The redemption arc may well be complete, but I'm sure there's more in the future for this guy.
And what's so impressive about the way that Fearless plays with the Dallas Fuel, and the reason, I mean, for me, and I think probably a lot of other people, like the player of the stage, not just this match, but the player of the Melee from start to finish,
oh my God,
is that every team knows that they're going to try and play around Fearless, and he's going to try and, you know, take over the game, whether it's on the Reinhardt, whether it's on the Winston. And even with all of that focus from the opposing teams, whether they're playing the Mei, they're playing Sombra, it doesn't matter. He's just able to get so much done. And especially now, I mean, going up against his old team, right? If there was a team that knew how to kind of take advantage of some of the errors that Fearless makes at times, it would be the Shanghai Dragons. They were not able to do it today. And I bet you they wish they still had Fearless, man. Is that he is looking real strong at the start of the season.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is a meta where he can thrive, but not just on that Reinhardt pick, right? The Winston looks very, very good. His mechanics in Primal Rage is something that really gets talked up a whole bunch. And really, it's that investment in him that allows, maybe the fact that there's a hit scan player, or it allows Doha and Sparkle to sort of go under the radar and be flankers and just harass the backline a little bit more. You saw at times that the Dragons were sort of investing resources in Fleta, trying to set him up, and Fate was struggling with all that extra focus. But now I want to set my focus on this team, and of course some words from the winners here. Let's cross over to Danny with Sparkle.
Mitch and Matt, thank you very much. Everybody, welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM. We're now joined by the May Melee champions, Dallas Fuel's one and only Sparkle. Sparkle, congratulations on winning the May Melee. Sparkle 선수, 오늘 경기 우승이네요. 이번엔 승리가 아니라 우승한 거 너무나도 축하드립니다.
감사합니다. 행복하다.
Alright, Sparkle says thank you, and he says he's very, very happy right now. And I bet you will. I bet you are feeling happy. You just won the tournament. You won it all. Now, my first question for you, Sparkle, is we saw you play Soldier 76 today on King's Row Blizzard and a few more times throughout the whole May Melee. How did you make Mr. Legs? I like to call him Mr. Legs. How did you make Mr. Legs work? 첫 번째 질문은 일단 오늘 이제 스파클 선수가 좀 어떻게 보면은 사람들이 자주 사용하지 않는, 선수들이 자주 사용하지 않는 솔저를 픽해서 우리 김병장님을 플레이하시는 모습을 많이 보여주고, 김병장님 덕분에 제가 봤을 때는 어떻게 보면 좀 승리를 이렇게 우승을 좀 하는데 좀 많은 도움이 되지 않았나 싶었는데, 그 픽에 대한 이유, 어떻게 픽을 하게 되셨고 또 어떻게 우리 솔저 픽으로 어떻게 좀 잘 경기를 이끌어 나갈 수 있었는지 대답 좀 해주시면 감사하겠습니다.
일단은 저희가 히트 스캔이 없다 보니까 사용할 수 있는 이제 약간 원거리 딜러가 한정되어 있었는데, 그나마 제가 이제 과거에 솔저를 좀 많이 해가지고 또 할 줄 알았고, 이만큼 잘 풀어갈 수 있었던 이유는 제가 봤을 땐 제가 한국에서 군대를 가야 되는 게 공익이었는데 이번 연도부터 현역으로 바뀌었거든요. 그래서 그만큼 더 이제 총 연습해가지고 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요. 군대 다녀오겠습니다.
군대는 언제 가시나요? 좀 더 이따 가시죠? 좀 더 이따가?
네, 맞아요. 당연하죠. 네.
Alright, so I think everyone knows we don't really have a hit scan, which means our hero pools are limited. There's limited heroes that we could play for long range damage dealing. And thankfully, though, I did have some time on Soldier 76 previously. I did play Soldier 76, so that was the most comfortable pick. That was closer to the hit scan that I could play. And also another important thing of using Soldier 76 is because I haven't done my military duty yet. That is coming up, and I feel like having that playing a soldier character in game sort of would help me when I do have to go into the military in the future. And I added a small question asking Sparkle, when is he going? I hope it's not soon. Sparkle did answer saying that it's not going to be soon. When he retires, he'll probably go into the military and do his military service in Korea. All right, second question is, knowing that Shanghai Dragons could run Pharah or heroes that may be trouble for Dallas, since you guys mentioned, since you guys don't have a designated hit scan player, how did you prepare for your final match against the Shanghai Dragons? 일단 방금 스파클 선수가 말씀하신 것처럼 히트 스캔을 하시는 선수가 없기 때문에 달라스에 이번 상하이가 파라도 쓰고 좀 어떻게 보면 히트 스캔을 요구하는 그런 조합이나 영웅들을 조금 쓰기도 하셨는데, 이런 걸 다 감안을 하면서 이번 마지막 경기 오늘 결승전에서 좀 어떻게 준비를 하셨나요?
일단은 어제 상하이랑 저희가 경기를 했을 때 저희가 히트 스캔이 안 되는 걸 알고 상하이 측에서 이제 에코 트랩 막 이런 거를 계속 쓰더라고요. 근데 이제 저희도 이제 그런 걸 다 감안하고 이제 준비하면서 이제 솔저 같은 것도 이미 사전에 연습이 돼 있어가지고 이미 다 생각해놓고 이제 카운터 쳤던 것 같아요. 네.
Right, so yesterday's Shanghai Dragons, against Shanghai Dragons, we knew that we didn't have hit scan and we couldn't play the hit scan heroes. So we saw that Shanghai Dragons were playing a lot of heroes that required hit scan heroes, and they were playing, like we saw Tracer, Echo. So after our match, we sort of saw what Shanghai was doing, and we found out that the best way was to sort of use Soldier, who I did have practice with, and that was probably the best way to counter what Shanghai had in plan, or what Shanghai's composition or their plan was going to be. All right, well, that is it for the post-match interview against Sparkle. Big congratulations on getting the win in the Melee tournament. Thank you so much. Sparkle 선수, 다시 한번 우승 너무나 축하드립니다.
무야호!
무야호! All right, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you, Sparkle. Congratulations to the Dallas Fuel. What a match. Absolutely love it. I'm in love with everything which just transpired. Not just because Danny and I got our preds right, but also this is just such a great storyline for the Dallas Fuel coming into this tournament, and also for those individual players. Now, it was an exciting back and forth series with a lot of standout performances on both sides, and we will be discussing on how Dallas got it done in the end. But first, we want to take a quick look at what was on stake for all the teams in the May Melee, as you're not just walking away with bragging rights here and a fancy title. No, they also got to get some cash as well as some league points, and the league points are really something which is incredibly important down the line, as those will determine who's making it to the grand final of the 2021 season. And Costa, 3 points, that's a lot of points.
And it's actually very important for the Dallas Fuel as well. They lost 2 matches in the regular season of the May Melee. They were the 6th seed, I believe, or like one of the lowest seeds that we had in the format. So it's like these 3 points are going to accelerate them up to the top of the table, and they very much need that because, as we said, if the May Melee didn't prove anything, it should. Every match, every map, every point counts, because that is going to be, for the big money at the end, for the playoffs. That is what matters. So big props to Dallas Fuel. Look at them, 5 points, standing at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Dallas Fuel #1. And you can see how quickly this just paid off as well. #1, of course, for the Mayhem. You see them. They still got 1 league point because they got 3rd, obviously, in this May Melee tournament. So they're at #4 as well, which helps them out. So you can quickly see how these league points affect the regular season standings. And league points is overall going to be the final determinator of who qualifies for the end of season playoffs. So again, very important to accrue those league points.
Yeah, and it's not just important for the teams to accumulate some points. It's also very important for us here on the desk to get some points in our predictions, because one day you might be gloating here on the desk, Reinforce. The other day you're back at the bottom once again. It can turn like so quickly. It's brutal. I'm personally very happy because it was lonely down here, Reinforce. I did not enjoy that at all. That was the first time for me on the bottom, and I'm still at the bottom, but I'm not alone. That's great.
I still take this. One away.
Yeah, feels good. Feels good to be back.
I'm with Johnny as well. Yeah, Danny, welcome back. But I've never been more happy to be wrong, because I actually, talking to these guys watching this match, I actually wanted Dallas to win this match, even though I predicted Shanghai halfway through the match, just because I think Dallas was playing the better Overwatch, and I really wanted them, and I really think they deserve this win. So I'm happy for them, and a little unhappy about my preds, but you take those.
Absolutely.
Danny, birthday preds coming in hot.
Yeah, it happened. Best birthday gift from Dallas Fuel. Thank you so much for putting me back on the top of my preds.
Yeah, they did it for the points, but mainly for your birthday.
For me, yeah. Thank you, Dallas. I personally just want to thank you.
It was really all about Danny. And Costa, by the way, he flip-flopped basically one map in. He always commentates. He and Reinforce are doing a phenomenal job in commentating the games as we watch them unfold. It's very informative, but somehow his was very scoot towards the Dallas Fuel, and we reminded him several times that, didn't you pick Shanghai? Shouldn't you root for them? And then it was an emotional roller coaster, I tell you that. Now we're taking a very quick break, but we will be right back in a moment to give you our best moments of the day, or rather from the May Melee tournament.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Do you feel like something is missing? You used to be top tier, but lately you've been lacking that legendary feeling. Are your skins and sprays default? Overwatch League perks by T-Mobile may be right for you. By connecting your YouTube account with your Battle.net account, you can start earning great Overwatch League perks, like League tokens to spend on legendary skins, as well as sprays and Overwatch League skins by just tuning into tournament matches. With Overwatch League perks, you can get back to doing what you love. Dumpstering randoms in Diamond. And doing it in style. Ask your doctor about linking your accounts today. Overwatch League perks by T-Mobile. They make everything better. Isn't that right, Reinhardt-looking, yogurt-eating stock footage guy?
Introducing Power Rankings with IBM Watson. With AI analyzing millions of Overwatch data points, heroes will be revealed.
You have come for adventure. But the Barons wants to break you. Your axe must be sharp. Your wits must be keen. And your heart must be mighty.
Beyond the veil lies the Shadowlands,
Where every soul has its place.
World of Warcraft Shadowlands, available now.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Watchboy Post Show presented by IBM. We're now joined here by the best main tank of the May Melee tournament, Fearless from Dallas Fuel. Fearless 선수 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
And again, big congratulations to you as well, Fearless, for winning the May Melee tournament. 자, 그리고 또 오늘 우승하신 거 너무나도 축하드립니다, Fearless 선수.
아, 진짜 너무 감사합니다. 자.
So, yeah, you guys started off as a 6th seed, and then you guys just won it all. You guys took the first place. What does it mean to beat Shanghai Dragons? I know you guys beat them yesterday, and then you guys beat them again today. So how does it feel to beat Shanghai Dragons in the finals and give Fuel fans their first final victory? 일단 오늘의 우승으로 어떻게 보면 이제 달라스 퓨얼 팀의 첫 번째 우승이 아닌가 싶습니다. 좀 그렇죠. 그거에 대한 좀 기분, 소감 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
일단 댈러스가 우승을 한 번도 못했다고 했었는데 오자마자 이 첫 시즌 이제 메이밀리 시작하자마자 진짜 우승할 줄 절대 몰랐거든요. 근데 진짜 이렇게 이겨버리니까 이 더한 행복 말이 안 나오네. 너무 행복한 것 같아요. 말이 안 나올 정도로 행복합니다.
알겠습니다. So yes, I've heard that this is Dallas Fuel's first ever victory in a tournament, and and we won. We clutched the win. It was a long coming, but we did clutch the win, and I can't even talk right now because I'm so happy. I can't put into words what I'm feeling. I'm just very, very happy that I got the win in the May Melee tournament, in the first tournament of the season. Now, this is sort of a serious question for you, for Dallas Fuel and for you, Fearless. Does this mean that the cycle of misery for Fuel fans it's just did it end? Did the cycle of misery end for Dallas Fuel? 이거를 설명하기 전에 I sort of have to confirm if Fearless knows about the cycle of misery. So I'm gonna ask him that first, guys. My apologies. Fearless 선수 혹시 뭐냐 이거 Cycle of Misery라는 이 그 밈을 보신 적 있나요? 달라스 퓨얼에 대해서 어떻게 보면 악순환 달라스의 악순환 이게 이런 밈 보신 적 있나요?
아니요.
없어요. Alright guys, unfortunately Fearless haven't seen the meme yet. He doesn't know what the meme is. I'm gonna just quickly explain to him what it is. 이게 뭐냐면 예전부터 달라스 퓨얼이 처음 생겼을 때부터 이렇게 뭐 좋은 선수들을 영입을 했다. 그 다음에 뭐 딱 그래서 사람들이 와 좋다 하다가 어떻게 보면 그냥 뭐 미적지근한 그냥 뭐 이렇게 승패로 가다가 LA 팀 한 번 이기고 그 다음에 또 다시 또 이거 그냥 흐지부지 됐다가 이게 이런 게 좀 밈으로 돌았어요. 근데 오늘은 그게 다르니까 영어로 한번 다시 할게요. So now Fearless understands what it is. So now Fearless, does this end the cycle of misery for Fuel fans everywhere? 자 이제 그러면 그거를 알아들으셨으니까 오늘은 우승을 했기 때문에 어떻게 보면 그 악순환이 끊긴 거긴 한데 Fearless 선수가 보실 때는 이게 정말로 이 악순환의 끝이라고 장담하실 수 있을까요?
네, 장담할 수 있고요. 이거는 제가 이제 이 메이밀리의 주인공이기 때문에 여기서 이제 악순환이라는 건 이제부터 없는 것 같아요.
Alright, so yes, for sure there won't be any more cycle of misery for Dallas Fuel and Dallas Fuel fans because we did win the main melee and we were the protagonists. We were the main characters for this whole tournament. So yes, short answer. The cycle of misery ends here tonight. Alright, thank you so much, Fearless, and congratulations on your victory again. Fearless 선수 오늘 인터뷰와 우승하신 거 너무너무 축하드립니다.
너무 감사합니다.
Alright, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny Lehman, Fearless. Well, you know what? They turned the cycle into a line of victory, and I'm so happy for it. Also, can we just have a segment here where Danny explains memes? I kind of feel like we need that.
I'm sweating, guys. That was kind of difficult.
I can't wait to hear that one goes over well. No, I loved it though, Danny. I don't speak Korean, but I felt like you nailed it.
Does Fearless know he's the protagonist of the league? Like,
I think so, because he said he was a main character. He said he was a main character for this tournament. I think he meant it as in like, because you become the main, you're the main sort of character in this whole anime arc of May Melee if you win it, right? So I think he was going in that route, but maybe he does know that, he's the protagonist of Overwatch League
acting
anime.
it on the server, so I'm all about it. Now it is time for State Farm's alt economy. Doha is one of the best Sombras in the league, but we saw the Dragons contain him pretty well on Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, this was actually quite sick from Fleta here playing the Echo on Temple of Anubis. A standout play that just happens in the finals by the last year's MVP, of course. Doha repeatedly tried to use his EMP to win this point A, but Fleta on the Echo duplicating intentionally just as the EMP goes off so he doesn't get hacked. Here you see himself, he flies up, sees Sombra's EMP comes out. Well, I'm gonna turn into a Winston, I'm not hacked, I can go down and disrupt that Dallas Fuel. And he did this repeatedly on Temple of Anubis. Really sick ultimate play from Fleta. He's the best Echo in the league. I'm sorry. He's the best Echo in the league. Fantastic performance by him, and this really solidified Temple of Anubis for Shanghai Dragons and kept them alive in the series for quite some time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's just... Also, Lee Jae-gon as well on that Mercy with his back. Like, they just played so well around it. And that's like, that was for me, maybe the turning point for the Shanghai Dragons. But unfortunately didn't get them over the line at the end, just through sick play from Dallas.
But honestly, like after Temple of Anubis, Danny and I were sitting here sweating. Dallas looked very good here in that very first control map. But then after Temple of Anubis, I was like, oh boy, like this is not gonna go well, is it? However, Dallas did edge it out. So let's talk about the match and let's talk about how Dallas Fuel actually managed to get the advantage in the very end.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting series, very back and forth. You're seeing like map-dependent situations. I thought we were about to be on the Shanghai Dragons, well, not really a reverse sweep, but the come up for them. They was really starting to gain momentum. They knew how to play against this Sombra. I was worried for the Dallas Fuel, But then we go on to Blizzard World, and somehow they got stuck in the Dallas Fuel's way of playing the game. You saw on their attack, they got caught playing Reinhardt for way too long. They were so afraid of Doha's EMP that they just didn't do anything for a really long period of time. And then Dallas just capitalized on it. That's what makes them one of the best teams. The best team that we have in this league right now, just capitalizing on opportunities, and they just closed it out so superbly.
Yeah, it really didn't feel like it was Shanghai Dragons' day, and I felt like you could really feel that on King's Row, especially when they were coming into Point C with so much time bank, but the Dallas Fuel stopped them. And then, of course, we moved over to Gibraltar, and it just felt like Dallas Fuel, they had the edge on Gibraltar to be able to win that map. But then Shanghai Dragons, they came back here on Ilios. They looked really strong on this control map, and suddenly you get this like vibe just in your body. You just feel like, oh, Shanghai Dragons, they're not out of it. They could pull this one back. Then, as Costa said, on Blizzard World, fantastic shatter by Fearless, and this really cemented the win, of course. It was the final map of the series, but as Costa said, Shanghai Dragons, they linger around on the Reinhardt compositions for too long, but at the end of the day, it came down to the last fight. It was so close. Double support ultimates from Shanghai Dragons. Leap barely dies in a Transcendence. Pulse bomb from Sparkle. So many great moments in that last fight. A phenomenal fight to end the May melee on, and that ultimately sealed the deal for the Dallas Fuel. This was an epic finals, well-deserved Dallas Fuel going away with the May melee trophy.
That defense and the hold from Shanghai Dragons on Blizzard World, the very last fight, it just, yeah, I have no words. That was really good. It was incredible. Awesome.
Yeah. Now, we were treated to amazing Overwatch throughout the entirety of this tournament, and every single day we had to pick our favorites, our best of the days, and honestly, every day this is a really tough task for us to actually fulfill. It's even harder than doing the bold predictions, trust me. Now, we still managed somehow to do it. I went with a very low-hanging fruit here. My best of the day is the marvel of modern technology. Yeah, that's right. Danny's virtual birthday cake. I just love that we had that. I mean, doesn't get any better than that.
I honestly really loved it. I'm really thankful for the production because this was, I've never gotten anything like this. I've never blew on a virtual cake and a virtual candle.
You might be the first. You might be the first ever.
Maybe. I really want that clip. I'm gonna save it on my phone. I'm just gonna look at it all day today.
Yeah.
If I may nitpick here, production, I mean, this is great and everything, but like balloons, confetti, music. I do feel like you could. I'm just saying, like the cake is great and all, but there was room. There's room for more.
No, it's fine. I got serenaded by you. So you remember that was another big up.
That's true. Oh, my heart. Right, moving on.
What are you doing? Is it me? Oh, is it me? Oh, no wonder. I was like, I saw myself on the camera. It didn't move, so I was like, oh, what are we doing? We're doing best of the day, right? Are we doing best of the day?
Yeah, that's
oh, okay.
Yes, we are done.
Sorry, guys. I'm sort of out of it. Okay, I'll focus. All right. My best of the day. And I hear our producer going with the Raven. But anyways, all right. My favorite of the day was actually Sparkle on Tracer. And on, I think it was their attack, the last point, he was just popping off, and their last pulse bomb kill onto the supports of Shanghai Dragons was really good. And I bring this up because, I think, Johnny and Costa were mentioning about how Shanghai Dragons were sort of, like their AI. They like learn stuff as they play. And I don't care if you guys don't agree with me, but I feel like Sparkle's Tracer is the bigger AI. Like, I feel like his Tracer play has been just continuously getting better and better. And I'm really excited to see where he's gonna go throughout the whole season.
I mean, I don't want to overtake your point, Danny, but like I totally agree with you because Sparkle went from meme Tracer to actually A-tier Tracer in the span of a stage. So it's a great point, Danny. I totally agree.
Guys, I have to talk about the elephant in the room. Lee J. Gon did hand deliver that to Izuyaki as well, in that clip. So it was a great pulse bomb and it did work really well. But we do need to talk about it. That was a great assist from Lee J. Gon on that one.
Yep.
But moving on to my best of the day, this is the nail in the coffin, as I said. This kind of summed up the whole May melee for Fearless. In the final hours, when Dallas needed him most, he does a 180 from the top rope. It would have been sicker if he did like a 360 or something like that. Well, he would be back.
Come on, dude.
Okay, it would be cool if he did a higher degree of spins, but still does something super awesome and just closes out this fight, wins it for the Dallas Fuel, and then from there on, it just felt like Dallas Fuel had all the momentum and closed out this series. So sick plays from Fearless. In my eyes, definitely the MVP of the league so far.
Some people might disagree with me here because it's a very controversial topic. But that shatter almost felt as powerful as the bumper shatter in Runaway. Now that shatter was bigger. That shatter was bigger in the number of men who actually like was on the ground, but like the magnitude of Fearless dropping there and hitting that shatter, cementing the win. That's a powerful shatter. That I don't know how you measure earthquakes. What's it called? I can't remember. But that's big on this. That thing.
Magnitude.
Very big on that scale. Yeah.
Magnitude.
Very many magnitudes.
Yes.
Many magnitudes. Many
magnitudes.
Many magnitudes. That's a big shatter. One of the biggest shatters I've seen. So yeah, absolutely. Now, for my best of the day, I gotta go with Sparkle Soldier 76. I mean, this is just like legendary stuff.
Oh yes, Mr. Legs.
You're not supposed to play this hero. But what is so epic about this, and this happens repeatedly in Overwatch history, you get into finals, and some heroes are not meant to be played, but the very best Overwatch players, they know the exact specific niche moment to bring out a meme hero, and they make it work. And we've seen this repeatedly. People are gonna meme at me in production, because I'll mention Apex here. But like sometimes in Apex finals, you just have like people come out with picks like Prophet Genji, and you just be like, they're not supposed to be able to pull this off, but Sparkle does it here. This was such an iconic pick from Sparkle here, being able to pull off the Soldier in this final. And I think this is really going to be one of the things people think back on. When you think of the May Melee 2021 finals, Sparkle Soldier 76 and how he was able to pull that off. The legs! He pulled off the legs! Epic. I mean, I don't have a beat button, but I'd say that's some king shit. So, love to see it.
Well beat. I absolutely loved it. No idea what that word could have been originally.
No.
Very surprising.
No.
I also want to give a close runner-up to my best of the day. Every time Fleda duplicated into Ana, Reinforce lost it. Absolutely lost it.
I did.
And I personally really enjoyed that. Why did that make you so angry? Why
it was just a moment. Costa, do it.
Yeah, it's so hit and miss, and we will talk about this. We'll break it down with a little bit of analysis because I think he did it 4 times in this series, and he only got value out of it 1 time on that Ilios when he managed to get a nano off on Void. Other than that, he either got taken out, didn't get a nano in time, or they just didn't have the damage because he switched into Ana. So, oh, you're actually here. Production is really, really good at this. Like, this was the 1 time it worked, but other than that, Duplicate is such a good ultimate, especially when there are Winstons on the board, there are Traces on the boards. There's just so many good things to duplicate. Ana, I would not say is one of them. So, yeah, pretty controversial choices by Fleta at certain times.
It did work here, but it didn't work on overtime on Dorado in the winner brackets finals. The very last map, he turned into Ana, got 4% ult, and then he was out of it. And it didn't work on Gibraltar when they were trying to push that card to cap 3 points. They needed the damage, just as Kato said. They needed the damage, but he insisted on the Ana. Took him like 10 seconds to build a nano. Useless at that point, and Dallas Fuel respawns. You need to finish it off. I would have liked to see a Diva, but I don't really, like we're just about to wrap up the show. We're about to wrap up the tournament. Yeah. I don't want to talk about players' mistakes.
That is great.
I just want to say, I thoroughly
for me that was a high note. I enjoyed your reaction to it, so I was not.
But I don't want to mold.
I was just upping
for
you
sure.
here. Really.
I've molded so much, Zoe. I don't want to mold anymore. I just want to show love.
That's true. I'm sorry. I didn't want to bring it back. I know
stage.
this is emotional. Yeah, this was emotional for you. I didn't mean to bring it back up. Now, with the May Melee decided, let's take a look at the standings with the bonus league points awarded and how things will shake up as we head into the June Joust qualifiers, as that is going to be our next tournament cycle coming up. So of course some things have shifted after that May Melee tournament. Guys, what's the most notable thing you're going to see here?
Has to be Shanghai at top. Like, they had a pretty poor regular season. Once again, these points from these tournament structures coming in clutch. Shanghai at the top on 5 points. That's gonna matter because APAC, the top end of APAC, is looking very strong. You're gonna need those points when we get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Fairly Fusion doesn't seem that far like below Shanghai Dragons. So it's,
no, they're 1 point, Danny.
Yeah, they're only 1 point. Sorry, I have really bad eyes and my monitor is pretty far away. Not far.
Bold prediction.
Hey, that's a bold prediction. I believe
Philly,
yeah.
Indeed.
Junjoust, I think for APAC will be really interesting. Shanghai, of course, they've shown us like what they could do, and you know, Philly and all the other teams are pretty great too. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I just want to, you know, once more remind everyone that obviously not every team has played against every team during their qualifier matches. Some teams had a tougher road and they might have an easier time in the Junjoust qualifier. So things can turn around really quickly if you're able to accumulate those 4 points during the regular playtime in that very tournament cycle. So I'm very, very interested to see, because shocker, I don't know the schedule, you know, out of thin air, but I do feel like there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of teams to still overtake one another heading into the Junjoust. I'm very excited for that. Now, after we saw all those matches, all those teams played out, which teams are you guys especially hopeful for heading into the Junjoust? Starting with you, Reinforce.
Hopeful? Oh, that's a tough question. You know, I really hope that the Washington Justice get it together. This is a phenomenal roster, but it was a bit shaky for them. The teamwork wasn't really figured out. Still seemed like they're trying to work things out internally with the Washington Justice. But like Decay, Mag, Fury, this is an incredible roster. They went 4-0, but didn't really make it because Florida Mayhem knocked them out in the knockout matches. But I really hope to see more from the Washington Justice. Very entertaining roster. Love to see more from them.
Ooh, that moves on to me then. I think I'm going to go for the Gladiators. Talking about a team that needs these tournament structure points, they are one of those teams that had a really hard schedule so far in the Melee, and they went 2-2, didn't qualify for the qualifiers, and they looked better in their second weekend. So I want to see them step up, get into the Junjoust playoffs, and start getting some points on the board because they're going to need them.
I'm gonna have to go with San Francisco Shock. You know, they didn't have, you know, things were rough for them. You know, in the Melee, leading up to Melee as well. And as the two-time back-to-back champions, I know they're gonna come back strong, but I'm really curious to see like what changes they're gonna make and how they're going to level up their gameplays and just, you know, what they have to bring to the table come into Junjoust.
I just feel like we saw so much potential from so many teams, and some of them, you know, got a little unlucky with schedules or just, you know, it didn't quite click, but the potential was there. The individual skill is definitely on those teams. I'm also very much excited for more of the Houston Outlaws. I'm very much in love with their tank duo. I think Django and Piggy are looking really, really crisp. That's some picture book synergy those tanks are displaying on a daily. So I want to see more of that. Now, as we sign off for the Melee, we want to say thank you so much for watching. It's been a fantastic tournament, and of course 4 weeks leading up to it, which were a lot of fun for us as well. Gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we will return in 2 weeks for the Junjoust qualifiers on Friday, May 21st at 12 p.m. PST. So enjoy the time off, fam. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you so much.
Happy
I love you all.
birthday,
사랑합니다. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks. All right, let's go party.